Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. We are excited. We have a crazy episode. I think it's our first father-son episode in one. Oh. We've done Lawler and Brian Christopher, but this is like, it's all one story. It's one continuous story, this one.
Well, we had Max and his pops, too.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but Max didn't do anything wrong. It was just...
Great point.
Yeah. This is like...
He's kind of a dickhead.
Yeah, he just was raised horribly by nightmare people. But it's a crazy episode. Before we get to that quickly, thank you for your reviews this week. Those are the words I'm trying to get out of my mouth here. Truly. Reviews, they do help a lot. So whatever platform you listen on, please, if you can review, do it. Give us 5 stars. Helps a lot. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now, today, and get your tickets for the virtual live show this week. Oh, baby.
This Thursday.
This Thursday, February the 10th, and it's available for 72 hours after, so you can rewatch it if you're too drunk or stoned the first time, or you can watch it later, or do whatever you got to do there. So much fun. It's going to be Small Town Murder. It's an actual episode of Small Town Murder. The case is insane. It's like Mr. Magoo times 100. It's one of the craziest things you're ever going to hear. So much fun this Thursday. It is shutupandgivememurder.com or momenthouse.com/smalltownmurder. Well, either way, but also you can get merch at shutupandgivememurder.com and all that stuff.
Get your damn tickets. Let's do this.
Get your tickets. Also tickets to live shows for the rest of the year. You can do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. So these episodes this week, we had so much fun. And anybody who subscribes $5 or above, you get access to everything. Crime and sports bonus, Small Town Murders bonus, a whole back catalog, over 100 episodes, lots of good stuff. This week, we did 2 really fun ones. For Crime and Sports, we did, it's a imposter story, sort of. A guy played college football, was done.
Did it for real,
was done. And then when he was 30, he decided to change his identity and go try again. And surprising, is physically dominating 18-year-olds. Very weird. And then it all blew up in his face, and the whole thing is wild, and you got to hear about that. And for Small Town Murder, this was one of my favorite things we ever did, this one, the Deadwood newspaper articles from Deadwood, South Dakota. What's it like to be in the first couple years of a literally lawless mining camp in the Old West? It is insanity, and weird articles, murders. You find out you don't want to get dry gulched. We do know that. No. You don't want any roustabouts to dry gulch you. We'll just say that. You got to hear the episode to know what we're talking about.
And I love cowboy shit. It was great.
Fun. Patreon
gets my goat.
That's so much. That was just crazy. It's dirty, filthy, and crazy. Patreon.com/crime and sports, and you'll get a shout out at the end of the show, of course, where Jimmie will mispronounce your name, even though he doesn't want to. He'd love to say it correctly. Or
nothing would please me more.
You can go to PayPal and just use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com, if you just want that shout out. Let's do this, Jimmie. A lot of show before us here.
Let's go.
Let us start. This is a basketball player. We're getting into basketball again this week, and this is a fun one because we get to talk about the old ABA, and then we even get to talk about 90s basketball as well because we're going to talk about his son. So it's all fun, crazy stuff. We're going to talk about David Vaughn Jr.
Is that right?
Oh, he's a junior. Oh, yeah. He's the poster junior, you could call him. He's really a junior's junior. He really is.
I believe, wait, never mind. No, I was thinking of Greg Vaughn. Greg Vaughn lived in Arizona for a while. I don't know. Did Dave pitch?
No, Dave's a basketball player. He's 6'11". No, nothing like Greg Vaughn
Nothing
whatsoever.
about basketball at
No,
all.
Vaughn's
Baseball,
Vaughn's just a common last name. That's all. That's all it is. So
All right.
He's born June 4th, 1952, and he's a Tennessee guy, kind of through and through here. His parents are. He grows up in a very structured household. His father's the Reverend David Vaughn. Oh. And yeah, he's a preacher at a small church outside Nashville, Tennessee. So
also,
this is some brimstone shit happening here. Yeah. But he's also really progressive as well, which is weird. Like I found an article from 1967 about his dad was marrying this couple, and this was against a state law. The state there was in the back then, I think this was in Virginia. Yeah, it was Virginia. They had, because that's where he married somebody. So they had black people and white people still couldn't get married in 1967 legally.
So he was marrying a black.
He was doing an interracial marriage anyway.
Mixed marriage, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit. And they got a license after the state attorney's general office handed down an opinion that the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling, which struck down Virginia's law, also applied to Tennessee. So that's what it was. So, yeah, they were the second interracial couple to apply for a Tennessee license. So he married the first
second ones.
The second, but the first ones they hadn't done it yet. They hadn't mailed it back in for recording yet. So he technically
got the first
married the first interracial couple legally in Tennessee, even though it was sort of not legal at the time. But then it was cloudy. It was legal. Yeah, it was cloudy. So yeah, his dad's a decent guy and very strict. He's like a Baptist minister, so you're going to get. Sure. He's not going to be like, hey, party, invite girls over. It's fun. You guys want like wine coolers or something? I'll hook you up. So,
at least Zima.
something. Now, he grows up, I believe, with his stepmother, though. I don't know what happened to his mother, but he has a stepmother who's around from the time he's young all the way through,
Married to his dad still.
Married to his dad forever till the end of time. So, yeah, his dad is a major influence kind of in his life when he's in high school, but then his presence wanes because he wants to do his own thing. He wants
Junior. To have fun.
Junior wants to have some fun. He's a beast on the court.
Really?
He also grows from 6'8" to 6'11" between his junior and senior year in high school.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he went for
almost
the summer.
7 feet tall in high school?
He went for the summer and came back, and the coach was like, holy shit, look at you. You're beautiful. My God, look at those legs.
You were
They're
beautiful
so
before.
Yeah, now you're 6'11". This is like, my goodness. Could it be any better?
What a gift.
Are you going to sprout a money tree out of the top of your head, too? This is great. So he was at Nashville's Cameron High School. And his coach said that came back to his senior year 3 inches taller and an even better player. He led his team to 2 straight state championships.
Son of a bitch.
And 55 consecutive wins.
Oh, in a row.
You couldn't beat them. You just couldn't beat this. He was 6'11" and just dominating everybody, and there was no beating him whatsoever.
55 in a row.
Yeah. He was the top-ranked basketball prospect in the state of Tennessee. He was number 1. His team was the number 1 team. He was Tennessee's Mr. Basketball of 70-71. I mean, he's a monster in
a hero.
High school. Yeah, I mean, he's just beloved. And he's in the tournament. They had a crowd for one of the games of 11,132 people for a high school basketball tournament. High school. The ABA couldn't draw that back then.
Yeah.
Like professionals. Like you could go see Julius Erving and you couldn't get 11,000 people.
More elbow room.
Yeah. You could go see Artis Gilmore and there's no, it's literally, that's crazy.
Spread your legs.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. So anyway, yeah, they did that. It was only the second team to get back-to-back titles, since the Second World War again. So just really, really good. And he's the tournament's most valuable player.
Sure.
He injured his ankle in the second to last game. So in the final game, he played with a really fucked up ankle and only scored 8 points, but they didn't say how many rebounds, but they said he made up
All of them.
he made up for it with an overpowering presence on the rebounds. So that's that.
Got them all.
He got them all pretty much. Yeah, he's 6'11". He doesn't need an ankle. He just taps the ball to himself. Give me that. So he for the tournament he had 57 minutes and had 84 points and 51 rebounds in the whole tournament. But there was one game where he only played 4 minutes because of his ankle. Wow. So he hurt his ankle in the one game, and then the next game he played on it anyway, and they won. So he's amazing, essentially, is what it is here. He's great. So 2 straight state championships, 2-time tournament MVP. He's the whole state's leading scorer. In his senior year, he averaged 22.9 points and 20 rebounds a game.
A game.
And almost 7 blocked shots too, as well.
Oh boy, he almost averaged a triple-double with like unbelievable stats.
Yeah, and that kind of presence. If you got a 6'11" guy who's blocking almost 7 shots, the only reason he's not blocking more is because they're not coming at him.
Right,
it's all
on the other side of the court.
It's all mid-range jumpers. They're not attacking the paint. That's stupid. He's just going to knock your shit back, So
unbelievable. Oh Jesus, James.
He's recruited everywhere. Obviously, he's just recruited all over the place. Memphis State, Cincinnati were 2 that he likes because they were close by. His stepmother, Virginia, says that the publicity hurt him. He said the recruiting was great for him. It helped his confidence and all that sort of thing. So the college is saying they liked him, was an okay thing. But once the publicity started and newspapers started talking to him, she said,
"Yeah, but that's the machine. You can't. If the college likes you, the reporters ask, who do you like? Which do you want, lady?"
The media will fuck up a kid who's not ready for that too, though. And it's not. I mean, they need the story. That's how the sport works. And without all the players who hate the media, all the players who hate the media, like I get it. They're annoying and they're looking for stories to make you look bad and all that. But if they weren't sitting there, you would be getting paid $32,000 a year for what you're doing, not $8 million, because that's how you get people to come there. As you have people, it's free publicity for you.
Exactly.
There's a whole section in newspapers and in every internet site and in every. It's all that's sports.
And today, the fantasy sports needs that chatter because we have to know what the environment's like in the fucking locker room, on the field, off the field. All that shit is so important to fantasy football.
Oh, my God. Even if it's not, because they don't really know what they're doing, they think it is, and it's one of those things. Like, it's a factor. I need to know the information. Meanwhile, you don't know if this guy's fucking, got in a fight with his girlfriend last night and is just having a bad day, or you have no idea.
It's all gambling.
Yeah. You don't know if he woke up with a migraine. You have no clue. Yeah. Like, that's not going to be on the report. No. So, I don't know. So his stepmother said, quote, "I think Dave Jr. was kind of messed up before he ever went into college. He got to the point where your head gets hard and you don't listen. He got to that point before he even got out of high school." So, once the publicity started, he just was like, I don't need people's advice. I know what I'm doing now.
Stubborn and just does it all on his own, does it his own way.
That's right. And so he gets his college he has to choose a college.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So he announces in January of 1971 that he is going to sign with Memphis State University.
Really?
That's where he's picking. Partially because, this is an interesting thing, he has a fiance at this point named Gail Finch. And,
how pregnant is Gail?
Well, not at this point, not at all. Which is, most of our athletes who are engaged in high school, we say they already have 2 kids with this person. But this is 1971 in a small, you know what I mean? Like coming from a reverend family and all that. This was like you
doing it a little more biblically.
You get engaged to your high school sweetheart is I think how it still worked for another few years here. So the 60s didn't hit the Deep South till about 1997. So you got to understand. I know that Tennessee's not the Deep South, but it's the Deep South if your father's a Baptist preacher. Then it is the Deep South at that point.
There are a lot of people in Tennessee that would say they are the Deep South.
Vermont is Tennessee, or Vermont is the Deep South if your father's a Baptist preacher. Like anything could be the Deep South if your father's a Baptist preacher. So, he decides he's going to go there. partially because, like I said, this Gail Finch is his fiance. Her brother is Larry Finch, who's the coach at Memphis State. So his brother-in-law, and he played too. He played at Memphis State. He played a little bit in the NBA. No, did he make it to the NBA? I can't remember now. Or maybe in the ABA for a minute. But he was a player, and now he's a coach, and he's a young coach too. So he wants to go play for his brother-in-law. That'd be fun. He likes his brother-in-law. Yeah. Gets along.
Nepotism works.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have an in. He said, quote, I plan to sign with Memphis State. And he said, I just don't want to feel like I was rushed into anything. I want to have plenty of time to make sure I've made the right decision. So he says this after he commits to it, though. So it's weird. He even got introduced at a Memphis State home game to the crowd. They brought him out on the court. This is our next year's big star, David Vaughn. Here he is. And they all, yay. I mean, made a big fucking deal. The Reverend Vaughn managed the whole recruitment, though. He was like, you had to go through him. That was part of it. Yeah. So it was any of these party schools or anything we're getting right away whittled out, ASU's in the bottom of the pile for the Rev, Not Florida State, don't think so. Going away. So, he did all of that. He said, we feel very comfortable that he's going to play for his uncle. It's not his uncle. It's his fucking brother-in-law. That's it's so weird. It's not too far away, so we can't just hop in a car and go see him once in a while. So they're happy that they can go see him over there. So he goes there, and there's an article here from Nashville all about it, and it says, the signing of David Vaughn to play at Memphis State could put the team on a road to a national championship. I mean, that's right away. Larry Finch here, he says, I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. No, at this point, he knew... I'm sorry, the coach here, this was his uncle, this coach. Then this guy leaves, and his brother-in-law becomes the coach eventually. That's how it works. Okay.
One way or another, he's got family there either way.
Yeah, and his future brother-in-law is playing on the team at this point. Okay. So he's going to go play with him. So he's saying with Larry Finch and this other guy, Ronnie Robinson, he says the addition of David, this could be a move toward the national championship. We feel David is definitely one of the top players in the country. So he's 6'11" and 230. He's a big guy.
It's amazing.
Crushing shit. On hand for the signing ceremony to go to Memphis State was the governor, Winfield Dunn,
really?
6 state representatives, 2 state senators, and Vaughn's whole family, his nephews, aunts, uncles, parents, friends, the whole deal. It was a big party. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
They're making this a political event?
Oh, yeah. This is, absolutely. We kept him in Tennessee. That's a big deal. We kept a state recruit in Tennessee. Look at us.
Okay.
So his second choice, he said, would have been Oral Roberts, which is
There's no way to say that without it sounding disgusting.
Disgusting. Yeah, it's absolutely the worst thing, and it's a super religious school as well, so it doesn't sound quite as fun. That's in Tulsa also. So, I mean, just all of that sounds not fun at all, except for the oral part, but you're not getting any. That's the difference.
Oral in Tulsa? That's a tough get.
At a religious college? I don't know. Yeah. Good luck. He said, I wanted to leave home, but not Tennessee. I always figured I'd go somewhere like Memphis or Chattanooga, he says. So State Senator Curtis Person went further, predicting a national championship within the next 3 years. The governor presented Vaughn with a set of cufflinks and a tie clasp bearing the seal of the state of Tennessee. Like he just fucking, like he's a war hero. And Person...
Here's for those days you get dressed up.
It gets worse, and Person awarded him a Sergeant of Arms certificate, one of the highest honors that can be bestowed by the state Senate. You're 17 and play basketball.
So
good here.
6'11" and 17 here.
Here you
He's
go.
done nothing.
He's done nothing but win high school basketball games.
He's the most important person in Tennessee.
A bit. This is what I mean. Like, this seems like, then you wonder why kids get big heads. It's like the governor gave him a tie clasp. Like, what are we talking about here?
How dare he think he can do whatever he wants? Your highest elected officials told him he can.
You're the best. Here, let me give you an award for existing. What have I done? You're here. That's what you've
There
done.
you are.
You've grown to be this wonderful height. Jesus.
My favorite thing that's ever been said: the best economical decision you can make is be really tall.
It's amazing. Super, super, super tall. It's great. If you're
and if
6'11",
you can't do that, just be really good looking. And if you can be really good looking and 6'11", I got news for you. You can retire now.
well, that would probably be like, I can't even get the 0.0000001% of the population is good looking and 6'11", probably.
Yeah.
Because I know, like in the United States,
like 7 of them.
Yeah, in the United States, I got mad because I'm 6'4" and I can't fit anywhere. So I got mad one day and I was like, why the fuck is nothing meant for me? Every chair I sit in doesn't work. It's too fucking small. Your legs stick out. It hurts your thigh. It's not comfortable. However, everything's set up for comfort. They're like, well, fuck you if you're tall. And I'm like, why is that? Then I looked it up. It's 6'4" and over is 1% of the population in the United States. I'm like, yeah, they're not making shit for us. They're like, well, fuck you, cram in, asshole. Like,
if we made only things for you, we would lose so much money.
but you'd be so comfortable. Everything would be nice and cushy and big, and you could curl up on all the chairs. You'd be great. So,
me? Forget it. Oh, I
You'd
look
be
like a
luxury.
toddler in his grandfather's chair everywhere I went.
You'd be so comfortable.
Oh, God, if airplanes built shit just for you, like targeted you,
that'd be amazing. But like,
flying would be the greatest thing on earth.
6'11", think about how little of that 1% is over 6'10", and then you add good looking into it, because I mean, most people aren't good looking. Let's be realistic. Right. Like 80% of people are monsters, or frog people, and then. I'll
bet 20% is
that's high.
A very generous number of decent looking people, James.
I think so. That's on Seinfeld. He said, I think it was 97% is what he said. 97% undateable. Undateable.
It's true.
And Elaine was like, I think it's like 25-30%. He's like, have you been to the DMV lately? No, look around. People are hideous. You're out of your mind.
It's true.
It's true.
Oh, my God, James, if planes built everything for you, I would dread the day the pilot comes on and says shit like, we'll be there in about 4 hours and 20 minutes rather than the usual 5 hours and 19 minutes. Take it around one more again, sir. I'm
one
so
more
cozy.
Time. I'm comfortable, goddammit.
I like this seat. I don't want to get up.
No, here's a weird thing. I don't know if, this might have been part of this whole deal. I don't know what's up here. During the ceremony, they have, in the newspaper, it says beaming during the proceedings was Vaughn's fiance. And this is a totally different girl.
Oh?
This is a different girl than Gail Finch, who he's definitely with at this point. So I don't know if he had another girl there and the paper blew up a spot, or if they fucking got her name wrong, if they just like got mixed up in the notes and that's the name of somebody they took a quote from. And I don't know what the fuck happened, but they say it's fiance's Denise Dowell.
No.
Maybe he dropped her and got Gail real fast. I don't know what happened. They asked her if she would receive a scholarship too, and she said, no, but I wish I did.
Mrs. Finch is going to get real mad if I do.
Yeah. So he does all that, but then he says, like, I just don't want to rush it. I mean, I want to go there, but I don't want to rush it. So Oral Roberts sees this as an opening to try to suck some talent out of another college.
Get over there, Oral.
He's going to try to, he wants success all over his face is what he wants, really. He wants the basketball success to sprinkle down, possibly from multiple places, and rain upon his face. That's what he's looking for.
It's gross.
He's trying to. That's what he does.
Gargle success.
It's gargle success. He wants to take it and really take a big bite and get it in the back of his throat. That's what he's trying to do with basketball success.
I want to feel what it's like to choke on championships.
I want so many that it's literally chokes me. That's what I'm looking for. I want to gag on it. That's what I want to do.
Mascara streams.
That's what I'm like. I like that. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm going to take that towel and I'm going to spit on it and polish it up nice and get it all.
Smack my cheeks with championships.
Oh, God, I can't say it with a straight face anymore. So Oral Roberts, though, literally sees this as a non-sexual opening, and Oral Roberts himself visits David Vaughn. Yeah, and he pleads with the Vaughns, and who knows what else he did. You know what I'm talking about.
On his knees and all.
He got down on his knees.
And pled.
And he convinced him in a way only he can. Said, please send your son to Tulsa. My God. He said, please, you're a reverend. You know this. Send him to this place. You're going to be so much happier with it. And David Vaughn Sr. was like, I mean, you know, he's got a point. This sounds like a great deal. Oral Roberts, I guess the guy, did this all the time. He would actively recruit people. He went down and preached at Reverend Vaughn's church to draw them a crowd and some money and all that shit, which should probably be an NCAA violation because it's just, you know what I mean? There was like people from the university there. Yay. Oh, here. Oh, put something in the collection tin, and they're putting hundreds in there probably. This is whatever.
That does feel a little slimy, but then you're mixing like religion into it, and then it's then it's okay because
it's I mean,
what the fuck?
I don't think the NCAA went, we're not going to mess with it. There's preaching involved. We don't want to talk about it.
Stirring up some controversy down there in the South. Let's not do that.
They said people came from miles and miles around to hear him at the little church there. And the ORU, the Oral Roberts University coaching staff, served as ushers, too.
Of course they did.
So it's basically a fundraiser event for the church is what they did, which is nice. But, I mean, I don't think you're allowed to do that technically in the bylaws of the NCAA. So a former assistant coach and chief recruiter, Dwayne Moose Rowe, says he remembered counting the offering on the trunks of cars parked outside, and they gave the money to Reverend Vaughn's church. So, yeah, they had it all laid out because there's so much money because so many people came. And they said
that looks so much cooler to the Reverend when you got so much money we need a car hood to count this.
We just got to lay it out. That's like, I remember one time at a party when I was a teenager, I was selling weed and I had so much fucking weed and I had all these bags and I put it all on my friend's hood and I was like, all right, I got all this. And I said, form an orderly, it was like form an orderly queue, like the in-betweeners. And I had people line up and they just came up like it was a dispensary and I had it all laid out on a fucking card hood. That's how you did it. So, in this article, it says, quote, illegal? No, the NCAA has never been one to interfere in romance or religion. That's
there
what they
it is.
said. Yeah, they don't want to fuck with it. They went on to say, this is the coach of Oral Roberts. That, quote, that wasn't necessarily done to recruit the kid, but it certainly didn't hurt. President Roberts and I were in his home one night, and Reverend Vaughn said it would be nice if he could speak at his church. So, so the head coach, he said that so casually. Oral Roberts and I, me and the head coach and the president of the university, and we were over at their house one night like we always are. Yeah. That's nice. So
the namesake of the university.
So now he's saying like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So the press asked Vaughn if he's ruled out Oral Roberts, and he says, quote, I better not comment on that. So now Memphis State's like, whoa, the governor gave you a tie clasp. What are we talking about? You're the sergeant of arms. Yeah. We can't have you go somewhere else.
Have a look at those wrists and those goddamn cufflinks, son.
Yeah, look at that. The only reason your sleeves are together is Oral fucking Roberts, mister.
Is the mayor. Is the goddamn governor that put those things together.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's just it's the state of Tennessee. So, he said, quote, this is the head coach of Oral Roberts, we are vitally interested in this boy. That does not sound good.
No, it does
not.
That
sounds really bad. Don't isolate that, please, anyway. We are vitally interested in this boy and think we've got a good chance to get him. And he said, but we have left him alone. These boys have a tournament to win, and we're not even going to think about recruiting him until it's over. That was when they were playing the tournament in high school here. So, then they said that he came for a visit to the Tulsa campus of Oral Roberts, and he said, we think that he was impressed with the program. So they think they can possibly land him. Then he says, David Vaughn comes out, and he says, I think I want to play for Oral Roberts. That's what I'm doing. Right. And then they said, what the fuck? And he said, quote, there was just too much pressure on me. I signed too early. He said, Oral Roberts has always been in the back of my mind. You know, it's in the back of most men's minds. That's the thing about it. Oral Roberts.
It's in the back of my throat.
Yeah, I just felt it tickle in the back of my throat all the time. And he said that, quote, we always felt like we had him. This is the coach of the team. I don't think Memphis State was ever really in the picture. He signed a thing and had the governor give him a fucking cufflink. What are we talking about? He said, we knew Cameron had a state tournament to win and we left him alone. After I visited the campus, this is Vaughn again, after I visited the campus and met some of the players and students, I realized the social life there was a lot different than I had anticipated. It was like, oh, these girls do fuck. Okay. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
You drink and fuck here, right? Oh, okay.
You guys do that college shit here?
You know, all that stuff that I'm going to college for. So, he said they signed here, and he's very excited, and the coach called Vaughn, quote, a future NBA center and one of the top prospects in the country. And he says, we're going to do our best to make him an All-American, but he can do that himself. The president is committed to win the national championship, and Dave can help us do it. So I guess that's Oral Roberts. So there you go. Now, his brother-in-law now, at this point, Larry Finch, who's with Memphis State, he said he was fucking, he said he was pissed about it. He said, quote, later on, this is years later, quote, it destroyed me. I had looked forward to playing with him. And he said that now he was mad about him marrying his sister, too. And he said, quote, I tried separating them. He was so mad, he tried to get his sister to dump the guy.
Break up with him. He's an asshole.
Break up? No, we were going to have a really good, like a Malone-Stockton thing going on, and this fucking guy went to another college. I don't think you should love him anymore.
He took my Malone from me. That's not fair.
I was going to be John Stockton, damn it. Do you understand?
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
And he does well, actually, in college. He's at Oral Roberts. He's a beast. At one point, he scored in a game 34 points and 34 rebounds in one game, which is like Wilt Chamberlain numbers here. That's pretty wild. Yeah, Brandeis they beat 123-95, 34 and 34. That's a fucking game right there. And things get a little different for him. He plays a couple years of college at Oral Roberts, and then things get a little weird. Not weird, just different, and he's got to start thinking about his priorities. On March 23rd, 1973, a son is born.
A son is born!
A son is born! David III. You guessed it. Of course it is. Of course he's a junior who juniored up his son, too. Of course!
Why wouldn't he? He's got cufflinks, James.
Jesus Christ, he's got cufflinks. Obviously, this is going to happen. So there you go. David the third is born now. So poor David the third. He's got to be the third. So this is what I mean. At this point, he starts thinking about, too, oh, shit, I'm in college and I have a son. One thing college doesn't do very well, if you're not at a major kind of sports factory university, is pay. They used to pay players back then, but I don't think a guy like him at Oral Roberts is getting much money. So
I think the church got his money.
I think, it's going right to the church, filtered in there. So he's a little bit upset about that, and he's trying to figure out what to do. This was the time when you couldn't come out early in the NBA.
Oh.
They started doing the hardship draft around this point, but you had to prove hardship and all this shit. The NBA, the NBA, and they only did that because the ABA was just signing. If you don't know what the ABA is, by the way, quickly, it's the American Basketball Association. It was the rival league that started up in the mid-'60s to the NBA, and it fell apart at the end, and there was a merger, and you got the Spurs and the Pacers and the Nuggets went to the NBA out of that, and the rest of the teams folded, basically. So,
yikes.
Yeah, and by the end, there was only 6 teams left. I mean, they were started to fold and drop off, but it's a fun story. There's a book called Loose Balls, which is hilarious, by Terry Pluto, and it's fucking great. It's just stories of the ABA, and they go all through the time period, and it's really well done. But some amazing fucking players were in the ABA. I mean, that's... like I said, Artis Gilmore started in the ABA. You had Dr. fucking J was the star of the ABA. I mean, there was Marvin Barnes. There was a lot of big stars in the ABA. So
it was fun. That's where the red, white, and blue ball came from, right?
Red, white, and blue ball, introduction of the three-point shot.
Right.
So if you like basketball today,
it's because of that.
Thank the ABA. The NBA had to do it to... that people loved it, and they had to keep up with the times.
It exciting.
It made it exciting.
It changed the fucking game in a second, and it did.
And it did.
It made basketball so much fun to watch.
They also invented the slam dunk contest.
Yeah.
They invented All-Star Weekend. The first slam dunk contest, Dr. J versus David Thompson, was the finals in that. I'm like, that's awesome. So... really cool shit. So anyway, what was I talking? I don't know why I was talking about the ABA.
Because he may have played in the ABA.
Who?
Is that what we said?
Someone.
No.
I don't know. Because we're saying the option to come out early of college. Right. The ABA would just sign a sophomore. They didn't care. So Julius Erving was Dr. J came out after his sophomore year, which the NBA would have had no part of him, but the ABA did. So he's got a choice, and he also isn't – I guess he tried to be on the World University Games team and wasn't selected for the team. Okay. So he was upset about that. And also he kept having all sorts of problems with Gail. They got married at this point. They have a son. They'd break up. They'd get back together. Young kids who've been going out since they were – fucking 19 that have a child and no main source of income. That you would fight over that.
And immature baggage that comes with that relationship.
It's the other thing. So the coach said, quote, he was having marital problems and he just wasn't happy, which is so weird to hear about a college player. Having problems with the wife. What percentage of college basketball players are married today, you think? What do you think the percentage is? Like one, maybe point?
It's got to be low.
However many guys are on BYU, I have no idea. Like Utah State or something. Other than that, who the fuck is married when they're 20 that's a college basketball player?
Unless they know that they're going to go to the NBA, like for sure, and they're just throwing it in whoever they're dating, you know what I mean, and just having children. Those people will get married.
That's possible. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But not in college, right? I don't know. Maybe. I could be wrong.
I'll bet they do. I'll bet they do.
I'd love to know that. I'd love to know the statistics of how many Division I high school, college athletes of all sports are married. I'd love to know that, excluding Utah.
And BYU.
Excluding Utah, like take Utah out of it, because I'd like to know everyone else. We know it's a high rate there. We don't have to even.
I'd like to know what it is with and without Utah.
What is it with Utah? 1%. Without Utah, 0%. Okay, I get it. So he's having marital problems. Coach said he just wasn't giving the time to basketball, so I gave him a week to 10 days off. He also said, quote, David Vaughn is one of the quietest, most gentle people I've ever known. He was devastated and was never the same after this. One minute he'd be like his old self, the next minute he'd be mad again. And he said, now I remember his words. This is Oral Roberts. Oh, no, this is the coach saying, I remember his words. He said, nobody loves me. I counseled him, and President Roberts counseled him.
Oh, my God.
He was upset from a breakup. You know, he's a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's 20.
Nobody loves me.
Nobody loves me. He's 20 years old. I don't know.
11,000 people came to watch you play basketball. People love you.
They love you.
Yeah.
He gets dismissed he gets let go from his scholarship at Oral Roberts this year. The coach said it's the best thing for David and the best thing for the team. So I guess he was averaging he averaged 32 points the last season a game, and he was averaging 19.2 this year. So they're saying
David
got a lot of problems. His parents said they had no knowledge of his dismissal from the team. He didn't even tell us yet. He also averaged 14.3 rebounds also. So, or no, that was high school. Never mind. So he was featured on the cover of the press book for the school also that year and everything else, and then he was gone. So where does he pop up?
I'd love to know.
UNLV, he shows up.
Is that right?
It's the beginning of the Jerry Tarkanian era, which is the Runnin' Rebels, you know, that early 90s team that if you were around in 1990 and you didn't have a UNLV something, you weren't shit.
Something.
You
Yeah.
have like a UNLV starter jacket or a fucking hat or
right.
Sure,
Some
everyone
shirt or
had that
whatever.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like the cool, badass school of, you know, everything. So
Did Nick Van Exel go there?
I don't remember.
I think
Jesus
Van Exel
Christ.
did.
I don't
Was it
remember
Van
now.
Exel?
No,
Who was
I
their
don't remember.
fucking point guard?
Oh, Jesus. Now I'm going to have
I
to
think it was
focus
Nick Van
on
Exel. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think it was. But I'm losing my mind now. So then he found out, by the way, this came back years later, first in 1979 and then in 1991. This came back twice to bite Jerry Tarkanian in the ass. The whole corrupt Tarkanian thing, which, I mean, I'm sure he did stuff, but it started with David Vaughn. It started with him where apparently, allegedly, he said that he needed to get a grade different to be able to go there. So Tarkanian, allegedly at the time, was accused of arranging a grade of a B in Black Studies, in a Black Studies course at UNLV. And he's also, they said he paid another player's airfare from Vegas to Pittsburgh when the guy quit the team. So, anyway, he said, so this starts out, but David finds out that he would have to sit out a year if he went there. So he's like, oh, I don't want to sit out a year. He said, quote, I was ready to go to the pros. I knew that's where I would be eventually. While I was sitting around waiting to get eligible because he had to wait out his eligibility to go to the NBA, the agents kept hounding me to sign. Oh, eligible for UNLV. I'm sorry. The agents kept hounding me to sign. He said, they told me all kinds of things. They told me Las Vegas was going on probation, which didn't happen, but they also had the money to offer. It was there and I took it. He said, probably the one thing that's hurt me has been that year out. It took me a while to get things together. The inactivity makes a difference. So he was going to sit out.
Yeah.
And then he decided against it. Yeah. He said later on, because he'll end up in the pros, he said, that's where I should be. I'll get adjusted. The rules, the red, white, and blue basketball, the travel, getting up before dawn to catch a flight, maybe that's the toughest adjustment of all. So we find out here, where is this? Okay, yes. We find out the 1973 ABA hardship draft.
Oh, boy.
Now, they picked him while he was still trying to go to UNLV, so he didn't even say he wanted to be a pro. But the ABA used to hold all sorts of weird drafts, too. They'd say, let's have a draft over here. I want to get this player. And then whoever drafted the person, that really didn't belong to them. Because if the kid didn't want to go there and he was a good player, then the team would just give the rights to whoever could sign him because it was better than losing him to the NBA. So if you were a good player and you went to the ABA, you could pretty much pick your team, was how it worked. A lot of the good players they sign, they say, where do you want to play?
What is that?
That's it.
Is that fair?
I mean, it's how they did it because it was either that or lose them. You know, I mean, they had territorial drafts where if you were the Florida team, you could pick from Florida and Florida State and all those teams. But if they didn't want to play there, then whoever would sign them. So this year in the hardship draft, he has chosen David Vaughn in the first round, which is good. First round by the San Diego Conquistadors.
All right.
Which you all heard of the Conquistadors and their legendary.
And all the championship runs.
Oh, we've all heard about it. The Conquistadors fold. Like before the season really starts this year. Because they were around a little bit. The season before, Wilt Chamberlain coached them.
Is that right?
Yes, Wilt Chamberlain was in a contract dispute with the NBA. He was pissed off, so he was still signed, but he tried to go to the ABA to play anyway, and went into court proceedings, and they said he wasn't allowed to play, but he still was. He was allowed to coach though, because that's not playing. So they hired him, and 10,000 people would show up just to watch Wilt Chamberlain stand there and tell people to move around and shit.
And cufflinks.
Yeah, and state-issued cufflinks. So David Vaughn goes here. Like I said, they fold, so the Virginia Squires end up with his rights.
Yikes.
And he goes to the Virginia Squires, who were a fucking mess. They were a fucking disaster. There was like... Some of the teams were well-run in the ABA. You know what I mean? Like Denver was a really well-run team. They were drawing 12,000 people when no one else was drawing shit. So, I mean, they were doing great. Indiana didn't have a lot of money, but they were a very well-run team. They won a lot of games. They did really well. Kentucky was a decent team, good organization. And then a lot of them were kind of shit. They would move cities because what would happen is an owner would go, I don't want to lose any more money. I'm out. Yeah. And so the league would take over the team because they can't have it fold. And so they would say, who the fuck wants it? They'd try to find a new ownership group in the city. If they couldn't, they'd move them to whoever the fuck would buy them.
What a time to be alive. I wish I was a businessman. I certainly would have bought the Virginia Squires and just played Billy Squire all night long.
Just constant on a loop.
Just a loop of Lonely as the Night.
Billy Squire's faces on their jerseys.
Hell yeah.
Right in the middle. Not even anything to do with Virginia. Just
my mascot will just be a blonde man with teased hair running around.
I like it.
Screaming Lonely as the Night.
Wow. So, yeah.
Stroke me, goddammit.
Oh man. So yeah, Virginia's they're one of the shit run teams. They're one of the teams that's always on the verge of folding. That everyone goes, are they going to fold? Are they not going to fold? That's kind of how they were.
Will there be a game today? Who knows?
Who knows? The 74-75 Squires, they're fucking terrible too because they can't afford anybody. This is what these teams would do, that when they needed money, they'd sell players off.
Wow.
So they needed money, so they'd call up one of the rich teams and go,
it's amazing.
Hey, I need money. Will you buy my starting power forward for $300,000 from me?
We already sold his locker.
Yeah, we sold it. We already sold his jersey out front the other night. He's got no sneakers right now, so he needs to go somewhere.
We gave away his jersey at Jersey night.
We
did.
There
was only one jersey to give. It was
this. We just auctioned it off outside on the sidewalk. We had some guy out there.
He signed it. Now we're selling him naked, but we're selling him.
He's available. That's fucking terrible. So they would do that, and then they'd have the team would have to throw in a player to match for the roster spot, but it would be a guy that signed for the league minimum, who's like the ninth guy on the bench. So they essentially traded their starting forward for nothing, just money because they needed to pay bills. So that's how you got a lot of bad teams.
Pay the water bill.
Yeah. So you got a lot of bad teams like that. There were games where one game, I think it was Virginia, they went to San Antonio and they said that the Virginia representative told the San Antonio people, we don't know if we're going to be able to play because the sheriffs are here to repossess our uniforms. Because they owed a cleaning bill of like $1,000, $1,500 and they didn't pay it. So
we're playing shirts and skins tonight, boys.
They literally like, what do we do? And so the San Antonio guy had to go because they were local San Antonio cops. Right. So they had to go and talk to him. And they said, look, You're not going to fucking thwart.
Right.
We'll give them our road uniforms and we'll play against them that way if you have
We're
to.
not playing shirts and foreskins.
Yeah. Where's Oral Roberts? We got to keep him out of here. He's really going to be jumpy. So he said, yeah, we can't do that. So what we have to. Yeah. So he said, we'll just give them the road uniform. So let them play. Yeah. Let them fucking play. What are you going to do with old uniforms now? Like, hold on to them? Let them play and take them after the game if you have to, but let them fucking play.
You didn't pay to clean it, so we're going to take the clothes?
The uniforms, because they owed money for them. So that's how it worked. The sheriffs, I guess that person filed some kind of grievance, and that was the solution. You can repossess these uniforms that never belonged to you in lieu of money that you're owed. It's so weird. But the sheriff showed up to enforce it, so what are you going to do?
That's the funniest business on earth.
Isn't it weird? That's how crazy the ABA was.
What if the guy from In-N-Out didn't pay for the potatoes this week? Is he going to come take the white shirts that the people are wearing?
Well, if they didn't clean them, if they cleaned them, they're going to leave nude In-N-Out employees.
Need those aprons.
It's fucking wild. I'd like to see that at a McDonald's sometime. The franchisee guy didn't. We're collecting those uniforms.
The guy from Cintas, he's like,
crazy.
All the uniforms, please.
So the Squires stink because of this.
Sure.
They get David on the team, but they finish 15-69.
Wow.
Which is fucking god-awful. So, just god-awful. So the coach here said, quote, David Vaughn is one of the cornerstones on which we will rebuild this franchise. There you go. His signing is indicative of the commitment of the new Virginia Squires and what they've made to achieve excellence on the court, equal to the support of the club. Let me see here. He said David is young, big, strong kid who can run. He's quick for a big man and is well tuned on defense. He's got his best years ahead of him. He's 21. Yeah, he does. And that's the way I like them. We have so many.
That's too much.
He's got his best years ahead of him, and that's the way I like them. You can't say that about a man, like a boy, if you're the coach. That sounds like...
You can't say that about any human being. It sounds so sexual.
Nice, tight buttocks when they're that age. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for. And tight.
That's how I like them.
Squeezing.
My kind of boy.
My kind of boy. My kind of young man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
The ABA is a fascinating tale.
It's so fascinating.
Shit like that is happening. How do you not just laugh every day? I can't believe we're functioning today.
Dude, that book is just, I'm telling you, it's like a 14-hour, 12-hour long book. It feels like it's no time at all because it's just hilarious. And there's, on the court, too, there's just brawling constantly. Guys, so many stories of guys just pummeling the piss out of each other with fist fights on the court. One where he got mad and threw a shoe at the guy as he was running up court. Wendell Ladmer threw a shoe at a guy and fucking... Wendell Ladmer was this guy, quick as a sidebar here. He was a big power forward center, one of the toughest guys in the league, and he would fucking just knock guys to fuck out all the time. That was his job, right? And he got mad at this point guard for getting the ball or something, so he couldn't catch up to him, so he took his shoe off and threw it at him and hit him in the back of the head with it as he ran up the court with the ball.
Like fighting siblings.
Yeah, this guy would later on move to Uganda to work for Idi Amin.
Oh, my God.
And then be executed by freedom fighters or whatever. He was like executed in a mass execution of Idi Amin followers.
Holy shit.
In like the mid-'80s. Yeah, he had a crazy life. There's so many guys in the ABA that when you track what they did after, it's like, what happened? Oh, my God. So anyway, David this year, he plays 83 games, so he's on the floor, 30.2 minutes a game. Okay, 11.7 points and 10.8 rebounds.
As well.
That's not bad. He's a kid, so scoring might be awkward for him, but I mean, that's a double-double. I mean, I'll take it. That's not bad. He said that it's different for him here. He said that he can remember when he was the only guy around who had to duck when he goes through doorways and all that kind of shit. But he said now it's harder. He said in high school and even college, scoring came easier. Then I could get my man beat just by jumping up and shooting the ball over his head. He said, I'm 6'11", but it's not like, he said, up here you've got to have strength, you've got to have moves, and you've got to be able to react to that pulling and pushing and grabbing inside. So ABA was a really rough game, too.
Yeah, I'm playing with people my own size now. That's what's happening.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of elbows, and I mean, it was brutal inside, and it was wide open with three-point shooting and running, so it was a really entertaining brand of basketball. If it's inside, guys are fighting, and if it's outside, they'll toss it around and then shoot one of those three-pointers with the red, white, and blue ball that looks so cool. It looks so good flying through the air. It really does. But they said that his 11 rebounds were, really good. They're excited about that, actually. And he said, so they're so happy with me. I'm concentrating on my rebound and defense. I figure the offense will come along from that. He said, I can still hit the jump shot, though. I can hit the jumper from the outside, which he couldn't, actually, and that was one of the problems on the team here. They even say the Virginia folks would rather have him shooting less often from the outside, so that's not going to work much. But he said strength is the difference. If you've got that strength along with size, you've got most of what it takes. So he said, I think I can do it. He said, what I need to work on is that inside game. You have to have the moves to get open and strength to put it up. So he's in the ABA. He's making money. He's back together with Gail. He's got another junior happening under his wing. I'm going to say it right now. Grace.
That's fuck.
It's Grace as fuck. It absolutely is. Here's Virginia here. Now, they were in the league for 9 years. This is right out of the Terry Pluto book, the Loose Balls. Quote, in a league that spent 9 years on the edge of disaster, no franchise went through more instability than the 75-76 Squires. It was ready to fold at least 6 times, went through 6 coaches.
Oh, boy.
In a season, Jimmy.
Oh, no.
And achieved only 15 victories. Good God. Here is how it was in the words of those who lived it, and there's some deals here. Their radio broadcaster kept a diary of the season, which is...
That would be so fun.
It is gold, dude. It's gold. Yeah. It's fucking amazing. So anyway, they draft David Thompson. Remember the Skywalker, who was the number one guy that everybody wanted. They draft him, but there's no way they can sign him. They can't afford to sign him. So they end up shipping him off, and he ends up in Denver because they have money to sign him. So that's how that goes. Now, here's Dave Twardzik. He's a player on the Squires. He says, when Virginia signed Vaughn, he was supposed to be our foundation, the 6'11" guy we needed in the middle. We got rid of Jim Eakins, who had been a very good center for us. Not great, but solid. He'd get 12 points, 10 rebounds a night. I mean, you could take one look at Eakins and one look at Vaughn and know you'd win more games with Eakins than Vaughn. Poor Vaughn was just screwed up back then. He had a finesse game, not much off the boards. He was basically a 6'11" jump shooter and really out of touch with reality.
How about that?
That's his teammate saying that. So
that is depressing.
That's depressing.
That's not a rave review.
It's really not, and not at all. And the 1975 NBA draft, David Thompson also goes number 1 in that draft.
Really?
But he chose the ABA because there was more money for him there.
Is that right?
Also, Vaughn is taken in the 75 NBA draft. Once he's eligible for the NBA draft, he's taken by the Knicks in the 4th round with pick 63. So that a lot of good that does him. 75 season, it gets interesting. He'll end up with only 8.6 minutes a game in 10 games that season.
Well, what the fuck happened?
2.9 points, 1.9 rebounds. Not good. Well, on July 21st, 1975, his wife leaves him.
That'll start it.
That'll start it. And then it gets real interesting from there. So, wife leaves. On July 24th, 1975, he has a very strange incident with the police here. He gets arrested, so it's like 3 days later. And the newspaper article, the headline is, Vaughn in Big Trouble. Very big, probably. He is arrested for indecent exposure in Virginia Beach. Okay?
And in Virginia Beach?
Where he
you
lives.
Can be a lunatic in Virginia Beach.
I guess his neighbor is Leroy Freeman, is an auxiliary policeman. Okay? And he looks out the window and he sees Vaughn walking around on the sidewalk outside the house wearing, what's he wearing, Jimmy?
A sock.
A short T-shirt.
Oh, he's Winnie the Pooh.
And nothing else.
Yeah.
He's pooing all over this bitch, dude. He's looking for honey,
like
Jimmy.
A belly shirt so the whole dick is out?
Oh, it's like a short T-shirt, dick flowing, flopping, nothing else. He's about to climb a tree, look for some honey. Like, it's obvious.
He's doing it so opposite. You should at least just have the pants on.
And the thing that freaked the guy out the most was there was a tiger next to him bouncing around on his tail, which the guy was like, wow, I've never seen that before.
Dragging a very small pig.
Maybe it is a bear, or I don't know. So, this guy, the auxiliary policeman, he just walking around, just, hey, ladies, buffet is open. Like, how do you walk around with your dick? It's Virginia Beach. It's breezy. You'd feel that on your dick hole, on your dick and your nuts. You'd feel taint breeze. Oh,
chilly out today.
Tickle my nuts.
You know why?
Like Jane like Joni from Deadwood. Come on, Jane. It's nippy on my twat. I love that line. It's so funny.
That's too much.
She's nippy on my twat. So anyway, this guy, his neighbor, goes out and arrests him for this. He's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm fine. I'm walking. Like, he didn't go, oh shit, my God, I was in a haze. I didn't realize I forgot pants.
I completely forgot my pants.
Cover myself up and run inside. He was like, I'm fine. When asked by the deputies, once they got there, he was held and then police came, deputies. Once they got there, and they were like, so why no clothes, bro? Like, what's up with that? His answer? Maybe one of the greatest things anyone on this show's ever said. It'll be the title of the episode, and it's fucking amazing. Quote, God is naked too. Not at the beach. Not at the beach.
What? I don't recall a single photo of Jesus naked. I guess that's not God, though.
All the depictions of even God, all the depictions I've ever seen of any God or any Jesus or any
robes.
Whatever your fucking deity is, there's always a robe or a wrap or like a sari or like a.
There's a rope. There's an actual piece of rope holding clothing closed, so I do not see God's dick.
That's the thing. That's what whatever happened to Jesus, it wasn't because his dick was out. No one was mad at him for that. Like, let's just make that. God is naked too, Jimmy. I was like, wow, that's hilarious. Honestly,
it's pretty good. It's not
what else
bad.
could you say? God is naked too. Great. Sounds good.
What's the difference? We were naked when we came out, so I suppose this is just what we get to do now.
Well, now you're 6'11" and your cock is enormous, so it's different. It's just different. You've scared children away with that thing. My God, a dog tried to fetch it. It's too big.
You can't, sir.
Sorry, it's just too much. It's just too much boat. We can't do it. So that's insane. And that's July 24th, 75. You think he can't get any crazier than that, right? God is naked too.
There's something wrong with him right now, right?
You would think, I would say, right? I mean, you don't just walk around naked for no reason.
I mean, sometimes a woman leaving you will shatter your world, but I don't know many people that just walk around with their dick out outdoors anymore.
Outside.
That's just what they do now.
I'm outdoors now. Me and my penis.
I'm so heartbroken. My penis is outdoors.
It's outdoors. My penis needed some air and a break because it's been very depressed lately. This is crazy. So July 25th, 1975, the very next day, 4 days after, so he goes to jail, gets released, and then the next day does this, okay? Sure. This is 4 days after his wife leaves him as well. So at the end of this day, he's going to end up with a charge of attempting to murder police officers. Oh, that's what this day will result in, and a slew of 11 other charges as well. Oh, it's not good. And he'll end up in the hospital as well, having surgery. So that's not good either. So he rents a car. It's a Lincoln Mark IV? Yeah, Mark IV. Mark IV. Lincoln, it's a 1975 Lincoln Mark IV. Okay. He goes to a gas station, all right, Nashville gas station, fills it up with $14 in the tank. Puts $14 in the tank, and this was before you had to pay before you pumped. You pump and then you go pay.
You just put it in, yeah.
He put it in and took the fuck off.
Oh, boy.
$14. All right. Yep. So Charlie L. Hendricks, the service station attendant, said that he just left without paying for $14 worth of gas. So a policewoman here, Campbell is her name, was it Deborah Campbell? She has been on the force less than a month, Deborah. Her and patrolman F.G. Rubin saw his car parked not far from the station and went to question him. They were like, oh, there's the car. That guy made a report. That's the one we're looking for. Let's go up and see what's up. So when they arrived by him, he gassed it, stepped on it, rammed the police car, and then fucking sped away.
Oh, boy.
$14 worth of gas.
$14 of gas is what this is doing. Oh, my word.
So he fucking took off, and then now unmarked cars join, anyone in the area fucking join. It's one of these like 70s police chases where if they all stopped, they'd pile up on each other like a big, like that thing in Stranger Things when the girl made look like that the tunnel wasn't there anymore.
Right.
That's what happened. So like a cartoon. So while he's doing this, he's got a whole brigade of police behind him. He never goes more than between 35 and 50 miles an hour.
Yeah,
okay?
That sounds crazy.
Just obeying traffic laws and shit, stopping, looking both ways. Hold on, all right? Making complete stops. Not even a rolling stop, complete stops. He won't, he's making rights on red but not lefts. He's doing all sorts of shit. So, by the way, frequently through this, what he would do is, because he's 6'11", he would stick his head out of the sunroof often because I think he's all bent. So he'd pop his head out. You'd see his head sticking out as they're chasing him. He's just this. They were like, how big is this fucking guy? His head is sticking out of the fucking. They were like, is he standing up while he drives? They didn't know what was going on.
Is that another person? What's that?
Yeah. What is going on here? So he's running. It's a, what is it? Over 7 mile chase. It's a long chase, 15-minute long chase. It is like it's a long deal. Near the end of the chase, he stuck his body, not only his head but his upper body, through the sunroof while he's driving, mind you.
Oh boy!
And was waving his hands in the air, and they said was appearing to throw objects out of the car. He was just throwing shit from the car left and right, like just tossing things. As he was, I guess, driving with his leg. I don't know what the fuck he was doing.
Unless he's got no pants on again.
That might be it, too. I'm not sure.
That'd be pretty impressive.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy. You almost have to let him go if that's how he did it. You go, wow, you did. Wow. You know what, sir? That's kind of impressive. Can you come in and like talk to like young people about hopes and dreams and aspirations?
Your steering wheel cover is very creative, sir.
So they said that this is from the police, quote, the suspect continued driving in that manner for nearly a mile.
A mile?
A mile. He drove with his cock for a mile.
That's incredible.
So it's wild. Finally, a police car pulled in front of him and like came to a slow stop with him, one of those. And but at this point, he's surrounded by police, but he refuses to get out of the car. He won't get out. He's surrounded, but he's got 10 cops around him. There's all sorts of cars. I mean, the sirens are going, fucking guns drawn. Get out, get out, get out.
At least they've got him contained, to be honest with you.
Yeah, at least he's not going to, I mean, yeah, he can't take off and go run an old lady down while they try to cross the street. So he wouldn't get out of the car. They said, quote, the suspect refused to get out and was forcibly removed from the car. Mm-hmm. Now, as they're struggling with him, because they don't forcibly remove him, then he goes, oh, all right, you got me. Right. It's a struggle out of the car and then a struggle on the ground as well. Now, he might not be able to get points over, fucking Artis Gilmore, but he's going to fight off some cops. He's a huge man. Like, it's a lot. So,
2 of 6 are going to be bloody, for sure.
It's a lot. So at some point during this struggle, when they're trying to get him handcuffs on him, he's half on the ground and half not. The officer Campbell, the rookie who been on the force less than a month, the way they put it, quote, her gun discharged, the one she's holding. She squeezed it.
No, it didn't. She put her finger on the trigger and fired it.
And this is like 7:30 at night too. So there's like regular traffic. This isn't at 2 a.m. Like normal people are seeing this. That's the other crazy shit. So also while During the chase, he rammed several other police cars and also bashed into another car who was going through an intersection and injured a person named Claudia Moore. So there's that as well. Now, the gun goes off and goes off. She shot him. Yeah, right. And I mean, you can't, it's not an accident. All right, it might be an accident, but they don't go off on their own usually is the thing.
Right. It functioned properly. You did it.
With a .38 caliber as well.
Oh, no.
I guess hits him in the left hip and ends up somewhere. He has to get it removed from his abdomen. He has some sort of abdomen issue, but doesn't hit anything vital or any bones.
Thankfully. Yeah.
So very lucky on that respect. So it was a 7 3/10 chase mile chase, by the way. So pretty long. So I guess they said that he was just he never exceeded 50 miles an hour. Most of the time he was doing 35, 40. This is all actions of a crazy person, of someone who's had a wire.
He's having a manic episode. Yeah.
Yeah. They said, quote, the man, this is from the cop, the man just would not stop. He just didn't act like a normal person during the incident, and I understand that he's still fighting officers and doctors in the hospital. He went to the hospital and didn't want doctors to treat him, and he was fighting them off, and they had to fucking hold him down so they could examine his wounds. Yeah, he was like, shoving nurses and shit like that. It was apparently not a good scene from what I've heard from this. So Campbell, the one who shot him, she'd been on the force less than a month and had not yet undergone rookie training or weapons training.
It's a good person that called to this chase.
So she wasn't like, she was like on the job training. Yeah. Basically, they hadn't given her, like, she hadn't got, they needed cops, so they were like, yeah, get her out on the street and then we'll get her in there. But now she's got a gun and she hasn't had weapons training, and I don't know what her gun expertise is to begin with.
Clearly not a lot.
Not a lot, exactly. He ends up in satisfactory condition, from fair to satisfactory, with a bullet wound in the abdomen at Norfolk General Hospital. He is charged with 4 counts of attempted murder with an automobile, 1 count of felonious hit and run, 1 misdemeanor hit and run, 1 count each of reckless driving and failing to observe police sirens, 2 charges of destroying or damaging city property, and 1 count of petty larceny.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Yeah. That's a lot. Officer Campbell, this is from the paper, was, quote, unable to explain how her pistol had discharged.
It's a .38, sugar. It's a revolver.
Do you know how many episodes of the first 48 I've seen where they say, I don't know how the gun just went off, man. I don't know how it happened. I don't remember. And they go, oh, really? Oh, well, guess what? 30 years. That's what
It's because there was just enough pressure put on the trigger to discharge the weapon.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
You can say I made a mistake in the course of policing and it didn't kill him, and they files a lawsuit and they pay him off for paying all that stuff. I mean, that's fine, but you can't say I'm unable to explain how it discharged. That's not the words you can say. I get that things happen, okay? She didn't empty the fucking revolver on him or any of that stuff. So if that happened, you go, holy shit, this is a clearly nervous and squeezed too hard because this is probably maybe one of her first struggles with a giant person she's ever been involved in.
There's what it is.
And got nervous and squeezed too hard because she didn't have the training that she should have had to be on the force, which isn't her fault necessarily, but definitely
she
the
had
forces.
her finger wrapped around a trigger while she tried to wrestle a very large man.
Yeah.
And muscles move.
At the same time, you shouldn't probably wrestle. When you've bashed into a bunch of cars and now you're surrounded with guns on you, maybe give up at that point. Probably.
Also, her superiors,
but still, shooting shouldn't have been happening.
Yeah,
he had no weapons. He wasn't.
Why put a weapon on somebody who hasn't been trained with that weapon?
That's great. I feel I don't know, but I feel like that doesn't that can't be operating procedure today. Like, you'd get sued.
I would fucking hope not.
Yeah,
if you have not been trained how to use that, you should never use that.
This is 1975 in Tennessee, so I'm not sure.
I mean, even in the electric industry, if you're not trained to use a tool, you're not allowed to use it.
Yeah.
A gun for a cop is certainly a fucking tool.
Yeah, I had a job in a warehouse once, and I didn't have the forklift certification, so I wasn't allowed to take a box from here to there. I had to wait for another guy to do it. It was so stupid.
You don't get the keys to that.
No, that's how it works, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So they said that the officer was suspended pending an investigation, which is pretty normal in these circumstances anyway. The supervisor said, quote, "We're still looking into the question of how it went off." Officer Campbell.
How many guns do you guys have?
I don't know what. I don't think there's a question of how. I think it's obvious what happened. Like, how isn't the question? Why did she have a gun was probably the question. Officer Campbell said she had no intent for the gun to go off. Well, that's good to know, but
then why did you pull it out of the fucking holster?
Why? I get you want to look intimidating, but I don't understand what. The explanation is as crazy as to say fucking that we're looking into the question of how it went off is as crazy as saying God is naked too when you get arrested for being naked. It's just as crazy. It's the same level of head shaking.
Same lunacy. You both need to be committed, for Christ's sake.
What now? So
why are you a cop if you can't figure that out?
That is fucking wild.
What cases are you cracking if you can't crack the case of how did the gun go off?
Jesus Christ. And then he went on. This is Captain R.W. Smith of the Chesapeake Police. He went on to say that he wishes the bullet would have never been fired. He said, quote, he wished it was, quote, still in its barrel.
Oh, look at him.
He said it's the kind of thing that nobody wants to happen. Yeah, because I assume, the rookie cop probably didn't want that to happen. She was, oh, shit, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I just shot a guy. Fuck. And I know for a fact David Vaughn probably didn't want to be shot in the abdomen, I would assume. I mean, just from personal experience, you don't want to be shot. So an old coach of his, because they started calling everybody he ever played for going, is this normal for him? Does he walk around with his dick out getting shot a lot? And he said, I've not had a chance to talk to him. And as far as I'm concerned, the man is in the hospital and has not been booked, they say, because they were waiting till after surgery to fucking serve him his warrants here. Until he's officially booked, I'm not going to make any statements about the incident. That's a police, or that's the coach. And then the coach went on to say, David is not like that at all. I talked to him last Thursday, but I had been in California since then, and I only returned Wednesday night. I just got home, and the police chief called me to tell me what happened. Wow, that's silver, baby. Yeah. The police chief called you to tell you what happened? That's
right.
How many times does a police chief call you to tell you of an emerging incident? There's some connection.
Well, I mean, this is a pretty wild fucking story that you kind of want to tell is the people closest to him.
Yeah.
This man was shot. Let me tell you how. Well, I'd love to, but I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not good at guns.
Not good at it. I don't even know how the gun went off. I have no explanations for
I
anything.
have no clue. Can't tell you how he was shot.
The coach then said, my first reaction was that it can't be him. It just didn't sound like him. And then we're like 6'11", cock swinging, and then he's like, yeah, that's him. Never mind.
Drives with it. That guy?
Drives with it. Yeah, that guy. Well, that's a strong erection. Then you could just wrap it on the wheel and move it around. So he said that he had a friendly conversation with him the last time, his coach said, his old coach. He said, we talked about our recent trade with Denver, and we were looking to be a better ball club next season. We have not had any problems with him since he joined our team. That's Virginia coach. Because this was during like the end of a season. It was like crazy. Or I'm sorry, right before the beginning of training camp. So his high school coach also said, quote, I was extremely surprised to hear of this type of thing. I'm glad to know that he's not seriously hurt, and I hope his marital problems work out. From all indications, I understand that he was very upset about his wife leaving him. David is a very easygoing guy, and this is not the type of thing he would get into. So, David Jr., who's not even 3 yet, he's just turned 3. Junior, yes, I'm sorry. David the third here. He said, quote, I just hope he holds on till we get there, since I heard the shot went all the way through him, which it didn't. That's what the parents heard at first. I just called the hospital, and they said he was in fair condition. They said the family had also been informed that the bullet struck that, quote, missed all vital organs, and he'll be able to play ball again, too. Okay. So everything's fine. Everything's great, obviously. Now, they obviously have him talk to a psychiatrist when he's in the hospital, because this is all a very aberrant 48 hours of what the fuck have you been doing. So the psychiatrist says that he was apparently suffering from a schizophrenic reaction and paranoid delusions, he said. They said the judge ended up dismissing the charges of attempted murder against him and reducing other charges, and we'll talk about how that ended up coming out. And so the hit and run charge was a felony that was sent to the grand jury, and also charges of petty larceny and leaving the scene of an accident were dismissed here. So Virginia here, he ends up going back, and he starts with training camp with Virginia, gets his abdomen sewn up and everything.
What?
While he's awaiting trial.
This man needs serious help.
Oh, he does. But in basketball back then, or in any sport, it was like, wow, that's great. Can you still shoot? Yeah,
just in life.
Can you have your pants on while you play? So September 23rd, 1975, from a news item here, Vaughn joined the Squires for training camp while awaiting trial. Friends blamed Vaughn's problems on the breakup of his marriage. Okay. That was that. So they got a center who's getting shot by cops and walking around with his dick hanging out.
Right.
One of the executives said everyone asked if Virginia would be the next to fold. Some way to start a season. The team was not shaping up well. Yeah, the David Vaughn situation was still up in the air. I felt very bad for Coach Al Bianchi because I knew the team was in trouble. Imagine you're the coach of this.
I can't.
They're selling off your players. The players you do have are too young to do anything and getting shot by cops and telling people that God's naked. So, Jesus. Here's a clip from that guy's diary because it's funny. November 1st, 1975. Opened the season with 5 straight losses and then finally won at San Diego, who had reconstituted themselves. Had a game the next night in St. Louis. Had a 5 a.m. wake-up call and didn't get to St. Louis until 5 p.m. One of our planes was fogged in. Another plane refused to wait for us. Then lost to St. Louis. They got all the way there and then lost the game. Coming home from St. Louis, we got stuck in the Chicago airport for a 5-hour delay while waiting for our flight to get back to Norfolk. Record is 1-6. Team is depressed and exhausted.
I'm sitting in Chicago for 6 hours.
Oh, my God. That is fucking brutal. Matt Calvin, one of the players, he said he's talking about how crazy everything was. He said, I don't think Bill, that's the coach, Bill Musselman, knew what he was up against at Virginia. He was a drill sergeant type, very aggressive with the players. But the attitude on the team was so bad with all the losing and the checks bouncing. Checks bouncing will piss people off.
That's hilarious.
That's a lot. He had a drill where he rolled the ball on the court and wanted guys to dive after it. He had these vicious rebounding drills. It got pretty ugly. Guys were killing each other, taking out their frustrations on their own teammates in practice. There were fights in nearly every practice. That's not good.
And the coach is just laughing.
He's loving it. Joby Wright, now an assistant coach at Indiana University, was on the team, and he seemed to get into a fight in every single practice. Musselman loved it, and he played Joby. Mel Bennett did the same thing, and he got to play. Frankly, I was never on a team before or since that fought as much in practice. It's a mess in Virginia, and they're about to fold. Here's Mike Goldberg. He's the ABA's general counsel. And he says, it seemed like we were always putting out fires, especially in Virginia. They had their 100 investors at a meeting. It's a bunch of guys putting in a little bit of money. And I remember Dave telling them, there's no guarantee that you'll eventually get into the NBA, and it's hard to know what will happen with the merger, but I'd stick it out if I were you. Then one of the owners stood up and yelled, they are you. The man just said we're going into the NBA. Oh, there you are. The man just said we're going into the NBA. These guys heard what they wanted to hear, and they wanted the league to make it so bad that they weren't really listening. I think that's why Virginia managed to stagger through the season. The amazing thing was that they didn't fold because you never knew from week to week if they'd be around. And then here's another one here from the Fusel diary, December 17th, 1975.
Yeah.
Right before Christmas. Jack Ankerson called a big staff meeting and discussed the front office taking pay cuts. That's nice in the holiday season. Jesus Christ. It's a week before Christmas. Everybody return those toys you bought for your children. You don't have any money now.
If you were waiting to get in for shopping, it's a bit late now because I need your money. I need you to not take another dime. Pay cuts time.
Fuck. He said, your
children will suffer.
Your children will suffer. Talk about bad signs. The commissioner came to town to talk to investors. Our record is 4-22.
Oh, God.
Yikes. So finally, January 76 here, he was facing 12 charges. He pleaded guilty to a half dozen reduced charges is what he did here. 6 misdemeanor charges. Also a felony hit and run charge and a misdemeanor charge of resisting arrest were dropped. 2 counts of attempted murder dismissed earlier. The judge fined him. You, sir, may fuck off. Listen to this here. Suspended your driver's license for 30 days. Fine of $375. And he must pay it within 24 hours. Oh, yeah.
Right now?
That's
Jesus.
it. That's all he got.
That's all he got?
Yeah, for having his dick out and bashing into police cars and some other motorist. That's
and a lawsuit against a reckless cop.
Yeah.
And a lawsuit against a reckless cop.
Oh, then the other one. I'm sorry. Then he ended up tacking on. That was for the one thing. Then he got, you, sir, may fuck off, 60 days in jail. That's what he got out of it. And fined $850. So that's what he got. 1976, he gets in a big lawsuit with the ABA. Because the Squire stopped paying him, calling it a breach of employment and injury to his reputation because they stopped paying him. They signed him to a 6-year, $1.2 million contract in the beginning.
Wow!
But it was terminated, he says, unjustly. They said it was the morality clause or whatever. So, and he's saying that wasn't enough because the charges were reduced, so blah, blah, blah.
Charges are reduced. Also, I've got fucking mental problems.
Also, there's that. Yeah, I obviously went off my fucking rocker for a few days there. Like, that's not my normal behavior before.
My wife left me. My life fell apart. I need help.
Yeah, it's not. So anyway, he ends up going back and forth with the ABA, and I think a lot of the guys sued and they won, and then they ended up trying to you got to fight to get the money from these guys, and they get all these weird staggered payments. So he was fucked basically. Yeah, a couple of his old jersey, just a referee outfit and a medium. You're like, that can't help me at all. So
a smooth red, white, and blue ball doesn't have the grip on it anymore.
None. It's just worn down. He spends most of the next 4 years in Italy playing. Okay. In 1978, David III now is 5, and he has gone to live with his grandparents. I don't know what's going on with his mom, but David Jr. here, father David, is off in Italy, so he goes to live with his grandparents. And this is the Reverend and Virginia.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Dave's dad.
Yeah, Dave's dad.
Dave won.
I guess so.
The original.
This is, I believe, his stepmother said, quote, "Little Dave was so different. He listened, not only to us, but to anyone who had good advice for him. Little Dave was brought up in the church completely. We told him, keep God in front of you, and there's nothing you can't do. We used to have to drag Dave Jr. to church." So okay. Dave III is much nicer.
It's the third part. When you say junior, sounds like a piece of shit.
Yeah, the third sounds fancy.
That's an educated little shit.
Fancy. Now back to Big David. It's during this time in his 4th season in Italy that he breaks both of his legs in an automobile accident over there, and he can't.
Oh shit!
No more basketball. His legs are fucked up now.
What?
Yeah. David Jr. breaks his legs. He's fucked. So
that's because Italy's not built for you tall fuckers either. Those cars they got over there. Holy shit.
He was driving with his knees next to his ears, and then he got in an accident.
He sat in the back seat.
Yeah. Clearly you're going to have broken legs from that. So he comes back, and that's when he and Gail split up in 1979. Well, not really. And that's when he got 5-year-old David lives with the Reverend in Nashville. And David III, his son, says, "It was hard for me to be close with my parents. My father was in L.A., because we'll find out what David Jr. went to go do. My mom was in Memphis. I was happy with my grandparents. That's all I knew." Mm-hmm. So he's there. His father, David, our guy, David Jr., he's in fucking L.A., fucking around, not seeing his kid at all. Sure. I mean, his mom is seeing him from Memphis, but he's staying with the grandparents. I guess it's a very stable environment. David Jr.'s got to get his shit together here. I mean, he's got to get it together. He's thinking he's cool. He's sitting in some apartment in L.A. thinking he's hot shit, trying to do some Hollywood shit that we'll talk about here, not paying attention to his kid. And finally, one night, he orders some food. Yeah. There's a pizza place down the street, and it's a nice Italian joint. And, he expects some kid to bring it over or whatever, but it's not. It's somebody way different. There's a knock at the door, and it's Vinny Pazienza's mom. She's right there with a big tray of fucking ziti, and she says, "How is it you've come to arrive here? What are you doing? What's wrong with you? Why do you not have clean pants? I'll wash your pants. What is wrong with you? You can't walk around with your thing swinging around. That's not going to work. What are you doing? Oh my God, are you here? What's that? Ziti, you're going to eat the ziti? You're so skinny. You're 6'11", but you're very skinny. I don't understand this. Why'd that cop shoot you? Why don't you just $14? You could have come to me. I would have given you $14. I'd have pulled up. You could have filled your tank up. I'd have given you the money. You don't need this, David. David, what is wrong with you, David? Are you eating? David, is it good? It's good. Good. I made it last night, but I had it nice. I covered it right away. I put it away so that way I figured it'd be nice and fresh. What's going on over here, David? Oh, your bathroom's a mess, David. This is terrible. Oh, my God. Jesus. And then, poof.
Put some pants on, David.
I brought you pants. God is naked, too.
Therapy.
You're right, sweetheart. He is naked. Poof. In a poof of ziti and pants, she's gone.
That we have to call that Ma Pa's therapy.
Ma Pa's therapy. That's what it is.
She is wonderful.
She is great, and David is super confused. He's like, "What was that little Italian lady in my house? I don't understand what's happening." I grew up in Tennessee, so the mid '80s comes around, and David Jr., not David III, David Jr. Right. He starts getting acting work.
Where? In L.A.?
Yeah, in like little roles. Because he's tall. He's 6'11". Yeah. So, I mean, he's 6'11". He's a nice-looking guy, too. So he's a good, if you need like a basketball scene, you put him out there, So he
hobble around with his broken legs.
Yeah, he's in Better Off Dead.
Really?
Yeah, John Cusack movie. He's in that.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's in that. He plays Jock number 3. So I don't know if there was, I don't remember all the background characters.
Some scene with some jocks in
it. There's a 6'11" guy. That's David Vaughn. He's also in a What is this? Get Out of My Room, which, have you ever seen this?
That sounds like a porn, James.
It's not. It's a Cheech and Chong movie.
Oh, what?
Which is so fucking strange because I've seen, I think all of them when I was a teenager, the Cheech and Chong movies. I watched Up in Smoke a couple months ago. It's still wonderful. And
What's the one with Pee Wee Herman? Is that one?
That's Nice Dreams.
Nice
Dreams.
So
Pee Wee's doing coke under the table. That's
I loved
fantastic.
him so much as a filthy. I wish
he was
Isn't it a bummer that children TV ruined that poor guy?
Yeah. Well, it made him more money than he could count. I mean,
it made him too seen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Too exposed.
He's a good fucking actor, man.
He's from what I've heard, an amazing human being.
Yeah.
I love him to death. He's terrific.
Now, this, I can't believe I've never seen this because it sounds actually, if it's done half decent, it sounds pretty cool. It's Get Out of My Room. In quote, in Cheech and Chong's Get Out of My Room, the stoners hit the streets of L.A. in a mockumentary about themselves. So that's some meta shit right there. Like a mockumentary about yourself. That's fucking... Because they became this weird thing. So that's really cool. Featuring their classic song/video, Born in East L.A. Okay, well, that's good. Making fun of Born in the USA. Very nice. And Born in East L.A.
What a great song it was.
It's great. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. It stars Cheech and Chong and Beverly D'Angelo. She's in every one of these movies we talk about. Do you notice that? Mom from Vacation. Michael Vincent.
So fun, though.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he plays an immigration officer. So, I mean, small part. And finally, Cassandra Peterson. Elvira's in it as well. So, what a weird... I got to watch this movie. I'm going to track it down and see if it's any good.
Who cast this shit?
I don't know. Well, David plays a basketball player in that, so that's a pretty good role for him.
Some range.
Then in 86, he is on 2 episodes of It's Gary Shandling's Show, which is
right?
I had no idea about that. The Grant Gets Broken episode and the Day Gary Moved In episode. He plays second basketball player in both of those, 2 separate episodes. So I don't know if it's a revival of a part or what it is. So then during the late 80s, he was working as a quote manager in commercials and in the movie industry is what he told the paper.
Whatever that means.
I don't know. He's trying to be a Hollywood manager, which is weird.
Anytime that feels very. I'm a rapist. That's
yeah. I'm looking for young girls to sit on my couch, and we play Winnie the Pooh. That's how it works. Yeah. We just have a pooing, we call it, and it's a Winnie the Pooh day. And she'll sit down, and I come in, and my cock swings freely. It's wonderful.
I'm a manager.
I can do this.
I'm a creep.
I'm a creep.
I'm a creep all day.
So it's at this point, David III is in high school, 1989. So there's an article in the paper here from Nashville, February 20th, 89. Quote, the new Vaughn generation is remindful of the older one. I hope not. Hope this guy wears pants. Remember the old Nashville Cameron High teams, which won 2 straight national championships in 70 and 71. Who doesn't remember a high school basketball team from 20 years ago?
Only 11,000 people remember that.
Jesus fucking Christ. They talk about David Vaughn was on that team. Quote, his son, David Vaughn III, is a 15-year-old sophomore on the 24-4 Whites Creek team, which recently won 23 straight games.
Wow.
The Cobras are also top-seeded boys squad in the District 11 AAA tournament. Even though Whites Creek coach Cornelius Ridley's old Pearl High teams never beat Cameron in the earlier Vaughn generation, Ridley has at least the comfort of knowing the younger one is now on his side. The older one kicked my ass. Now I got the younger one. He said, David is the spitting image of his father. When he goes up and blocks a shot, it reminds me exactly of his father. So many of his mannerisms are the same. When I coached at Pearl High, we never beat them when he was on that team. So they got his kid. So, they said that a newspaper article says that he lives in L.A., David Jr., and they said that he has frequent phone contact with his son and offers him advice. And they also said that he was recently there to watch one of his games. Okay. And David III confirms his dad talks to him. He said, he tells me that I'm going through, that even though I'm not starting, not to let that get me down. He's told me to watch the flow of the game and to pick up little things. I should do, little things I should do to help the team when I get into the game. He's been very helpful. He kept emphasizing when I started playing in the 7th grade not to play basketball because of him. He told me to play it only if I wanted to. That's good. That's actually really good. He said that his grandfather's also been a big inspiration. That's who he's living with. He said he comes to all my games and gives me lots of encouragement. So, they said he's doing fantastic. Until when he's 15 years old.
Yeah.
So sad, man. There's always something. It's crime and sports, so it's going to be a shit show at some point. It's going to everything falls apart on this show. So during this time, his mother, Gail, suffers a heart attack and dies.
Oh, no.
When he's only 15.
Shit.
I mean, and she's in her 30s, for Christ's sake.
Right.
That is,
lady.
Wow, that's awful, man. That's really awful. David III said, quote, "That was really rough on me. I really loved my mother." Well, yeah, it's your mother.
I'm sure.
Of course. It wasn't that bad. We didn't really, we just didn't click. You know what I mean? Like, it's your mom. Yeah. You loved her. We get it.
She gave birth to me, been in my life my whole time. Not real sad.
Not real. You know what? We just never real close. Just never really felt it. He said, "That was a bad time in my life." Yeah, I bet it was. That sounds awful. Poor kid. 15 is a shit time for your mom to go.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
That's too early.
Way too early. So 1990, they talk about how he's doing super well, and his team was an underdog in this tournament, and they were doing well anyway because, he was crushing shit, and he had 33 points, 20 rebounds, and 6 block shots in a game one time.
Jesus Christ.
In a tournament. So he's just fucking ripping it off. They're talking, ripping it up. Memphis State wants him.
Okay. Oh,
they want
yes.
Have another try at it. So that's pretty fucking hilarious, I think. They beat a team 86-45 in the tournament. That's pretty nasty. Colleges want him bad. From the newspaper, it says letters and correspondence regarding college are already beginning to flow into the school and Vaughn's home mailboxes. He says, "They tell me how valuable I can be to their school and how much of an impact player I can be. Right now, I'm just enjoying the letters. I'm not going to make up my mind until on where I'm going until I'm a senior anyway, and going through this part is fun." Yeah. So he's like, I enjoy being a pretty girl right now. I'm a pretty girl at the dance, and I'm liking it. That's all. I'm going to fucking fluff. I'm going to fluff up my tits and go get some punch. So you want some. Who wants to dance, fellas?
Feels crisp. What is it? Crisp on my twat? Is that what it is?
It's nippy on my twat.
Nippy on his twat right now.
It's nippy on my twat, Jane.
Every time he gets a letter, it's nippy on my twat.
Yeah, it's nippy on my twat. So his uncle, who is his mom's brother, Larry, is the coach at Memphis State at this point. So that's,
oh my God,
that's pretty nice. So he began inviting David to Memphis in the summertime to attend basketball camps there and stay with his family. So get him used to going there.
Wait till Oral Roberts comes into town.
No shit. So by the time Oral Roberts is coming through, buddy. By the time he finishes high school, he's totally, all he wants to go to is Memphis State. He's been going there for years. So it's funny because then his dad committed and didn't go. He said that at this point he's in touch with his dad again because then he wasn't for a while in high school. And at this point, his dad is working in Nashville in a home for dysfunctional children, whatever that means. Oh. That's nice. He said that he's learning about who his father was as a basketball player because he never got to see him play. He said, "I've seen lots of news clippings about him. He was a great player. He knows a lot about the game, and he shares it with me." So he said, he's happy with it. The coach, Finch, he says that we're young, and young guys don't know how to tense up. Oh, my God. Why does this all sound sexual? Young guys, you can just slide it right in there. They don't even notice. They don't even know to try to break your cock off. It's great. Like, what is going on here?
This is his mom's brother.
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
the guy? Yeah.
But a lot of it will depend on David Vaughn. So he is a 1990-1991 McDonald's All-American.
Yeah,
very good. That's one of the main things you do there. Now, his father, on the other hand, lives in California, but according to his parents, the Reverend in Virginia, they don't know exactly where.
Oh, just somewhere's in not the second largest state in America.
Yeah, just somewhere in there, north, south, we don't know.
It could be San Diego or fucking Fresno.
Either
Vast
way.
difference.
Either way, he's over there. They said that they seldom hear from him, the family. Yeah. They said they don't have his telephone number or his address. He didn't give his phone number to his parents.
Yeah.
Who?
I'd rather them just imagine I'm living in fucking Venice rather than Bakersfield.
I think that's what it is. She said the last time they saw him was the last spring state tournament when he came to see Little Dave play. Oh, Little Dave is 6'10", by the way.
Yeah.
David Vaughn III. 6'10". So very little Dave.
1 inch.
They said, well, how was David Jr., the dad? And Virginia said, quote, he was okay. He's remarried, and he's working in some kind of auto parts store.
Oh, he's in Blythe.
Yeah, it's even worse. It gets farther out in the desert every goddamn time we talk or bring something up. It's just getting, wow, no, it's Barstow? Jesus Christ, just kill yourself.
Jesus.
Oh, enough.
It's so bad. He's in like Imperial County.
Yeah. That place off the, what is the one? Indio. He's in Indio. That's still where you stop and get gas?
I think that's where Imperial County is at.
Yeah.
It's a really big county, and it covers, like, from Mexico up to, like, I don't know, fucking Tahoe. It's far.
And it only exists for people from Phoenix and L.A. going to, or Phoenix and Las Vegas going to L.A., because that's the first place you can stop for gas after a long while. That it's not like a lone thing. There's, like, McDonald's are there, and there's, like, food.
You look down and you go, I've got about a third left. I don't know if I'll make it. We'll stop
We'll
here.
fill up. And you know what? I'm going to grab a cheeseburger anyway, so that's fine. That's what happens.
Everybody got to pay? Let's pay.
And that's why that place exists.
That's why it's there.
A little better gas mileage, that place is wiped off the face of the earth. Never going to exist again. Ghost town, tumbleweeds.
6 miles more out of my gallons, you're fucked.
You're out. I can make it now. Now I know I'm making it all the way to Disney World.
Now I don't need you.
Don't need you.
I can get right to Mickey and her polka dotted dress.
Boom.
Fuck off.
Front porch, baby. So he's working in an auto parts store, and Virginia said his son was glad to see him. He hadn't seen him in 2 or 3 years. Yes. Jesus, that's brutal. So in 1991, David III arrives at Memphis State. So he's one of the most touted recruits in the nation. He's basketball, his father played. He's second generation. Yeah. He's 6'10". So it's not too bad here. So freshman year, he averages 13.4 points a game. And part of that is on his team, Memphis State, early 90s. You know who's on that team, Jimmy?
Penny Hardaway.
Penny fucking Hardaway. So
you betcha.
That's a pretty goddamn good ball player that gets a lot of attention at Memphis State.
He is so good.
And he's a great passer, a great scorer.
Minus injuries, he would have been amazing.
He was nasty. People don't remember that. Look up like a YouTube video of Penny Hardaway highlights. Mm-hmm. You'll see some shit that you're like, wow, that was really impressive. A big 6'7", 6'8" point guard that could he was nasty, man. Slick and smooth.
So yeah.
He was good, man. So
handsome. He was great for the NBA. Jesus.
Oh, he was really nice guy too.
Slanging Sprite with Chris Rock.
Super fucking nice guy too. Like really
that's what I'm told.
Like a gentle kind of a guy. It seems from everything I've been heard.
Except for today when the media asked him questions and he just fucking has had enough.
Oh yeah, by now
he just had a press conference like last week and he just told them all how much of fucking assholes they are for asking them why they suck. We suck because they're kids. Let them be.
Well, why are you not getting them better then, coach?
Because I'm Penny Hardaway and my legs are broken. That's why.
And they're all broken. You don't understand. My back's fucked up. It's all messed up.
I'm a disaster.
So they, in the tournament, they went to the tournament. They had their opening game against Arkansas, and he started with 8 rebounds and 10 points in the first half, which is pretty good. But Vaughn ends up hurting his knee there in that game and suffers a partial tear of his ACL. So he's done for the season. He said it put a damper on things. I thought we could make it to the Final Four. When I went out, we lost that chance. That's awfully fucking Awfully cocky of you.
Yeah,
so
very proud of yourself.
He only plays in one game in 92-93 because of the knee injury. His freshman year, though, he played in 34 games, averaged 13.4 points, 8.3 rebounds a game. By the time his junior year comes around, when his knee is healed up here, he starts all 28 games, 16.6 points, 12 rebounds a game, 3.8 blocks, too.
He's so good.
That's pretty goddamn good. In 1992, when they go to the tournament, they have like a nice story in the paper here.
Yeah, well, Cinderella.
His grandfather can't afford to go to the game.
What?
And his grandfather wants to go to the game, so the legislature raised money for him. He's a state employee. He's a janitor at the state legislature, the grandfather. And so they wanted to get him there, so they raised money, and then there was an issue of that was a violation of NCAA rules.
Right. Yeah.
So he ended up getting the money for it. They got him enough money for a first-class ticket and everything, they said, and reservations at the same hotel as the team, and $300 spending money. They wanted him to go have a good time. The Senate and House of the state gave standing ovations as the Reverend thanked them and sang "How Great Thou Art." Jesus. He started
He's so religious.
He sang religious songs too. I'd like to thank you with a song about Jesus.
I'd like
He's
to
naked,
thank
you know.
you about a song about Jesus, but you can interpret it that it's singing it about you.
About you.
Because how great thou art.
Hold on, I got to take my dick out though because it's Jesus, so we know he's naked. He did an a cappella rendition that had House members, quote, pulling out their handkerchiefs. This is in the newspaper.
Unbelievable.
That's pretty fucking amazing, man. That's pretty cool shit. So anyway, that's nice that he got to do that. 92-93, like I said, he's kind of screwed with the knee injury. It was, I guess it was, they said 6 to 8 weeks at first, but then he sat out like a whole year for it. They said it was a large, they didn't know, but a large or complete tear would require ligament reconstruction. And then they said the ACL is 1.5 inches long. Wow.
That's all it is?
So many careers are fucked up for an 1.5 inches long band of tissue at the center of the knee.
It's on the side, right?
No, that's MCL's on the side, ACL's
so
in the front.
it's the middle one in the back?
In the front.
Oh, shit.
Like if you bend your knee and under your kneecap, that's your ACL.
That's where it is.
Yeah, that's your ACL, connecting that joint in there. So, and then the one on the side is MCL. Yeah, that's fun shit. So that's what he's going to do. And the coach said it was terrible that he was hurt. He said, when you prepare for the worst, everything else is a bonus. I'm not looking at this just as a coach, but also as his uncle. You don't hear that as talk about silver. I'm going to protect him for multiple reasons. Unless his legs are in great shape, my advice is not to come back this season. I would kill myself if I brought him back too soon and he really tore up his knee. I'd hate to sacrifice him just so we could have a great season. It doesn't concern my livelihood. This concerns my blood. I care about him more than I care about doing my job. I figure I can do something else, but there's only one David.
The hyperbole from this motherfucker is crazy.
No shit.
Everything's just, I'll kill myself.
Yeah. Blood. I care about my blood. I don't care about my job. Fucking, it's all very.
Everything is so far the extreme.
Christ, I didn't know Finch.
Kill myself.
I didn't know Finch was an Italian name. He sounds very Italian. He's very. Listen to this. I'd hate to sacrifice him just so we could have a great season. This don't concern my livelihood. This concerns my blood. It's my blood. I care about him more than doing my fucking job. You understand me? I figure I could do something else. But there's only one David, you know? He's a kid, for Christ's sake. I'm not looking at this as his coach, but also as his uncle. Unless the kid's leg's in great shape, my advice, don't even come back this year. You sit down. I'd kill myself if I brought him back too soon and he really tore up his knee. Forget about it. I wouldn't be able. No, I couldn't do nothing.
I kill myself.
I'd kill myself. I swear to God, I'd take a big knife and I'd plunge it into my fucking chest so it pierced my heart. You understand?
Start my 12 gauge, for Christ's sake.
I'll bleed out all over my fucking living room. I don't care. It's worth it from this young boy, my young nephew.
I'll splatter my brains on this picture of Jesus in my living room.
I'll put a rosary on and I'll blow my fucking top of my head off with this. I will spread skull all over this living room with a fucking 12 gauge while I'm holding a rosary in one hand and a picture of Jesus in the other. You understand me?
Right in front of my wife.
Right in front of my kids. And I'll tell him, I'll say, this is for David. Boom.
You don't understand. His knee's a mess.
He needs
it's
his
my
legs,
fault.
for Christ's sake. Oh. Boom.
I asked him to play the fourth quarter. It's my fault.
And then Vinny's Pazienza's mom comes in. Oh, his knee is so bad. The poor. Oh, my God. Here, eat. It'll make you feel better. Oh, God. It'll heal the ligaments. They need pasta.
It is shocking that
helps.
It's shocking that David's dad has so many mental problems when everybody around him is just talking about how fucking they'd kill themselves.
I'd kill myself. If
Over
this
an injury.
Tore his fucking knee up worse and it's my fault. Hey, what kind of a fucking prick am I, you know?
I asked him to run the triangle. It's my fault.
Oh, he doesn't understand
I knew he couldn't do it.
It's too much. It's too much. I
knew
can't take
it
it
too
no more.
much strain on his knees.
This is ridiculous. I can't take it. I'm gonna off.
Drew up the alley-oop. It's my fault.
I rigged up a contraption, okay, where I hold myself up, and then I rigged up where I could pull a string, and then a cannonball will fire through my chest, making a clean hole like a cartoon. And I think that's the best way for me to go out. I need to show everybody how contrite I am over this poor kid's fucking knee.
And I deserve it. I'm being honest.
Deserve every fucking minute of it.
I shouldn't have said it.
Kids, gather around and watch this. This is going to be important for later on in your life, so you know not to be a fucking asshole. You don't be a jerk off
40
like
seconds
that.
left. We had 2 timeouts. I could have just drawn up a normal play. I called the alley-oop. Boom. His knees are fucked.
Fuck, it's all fucked up. I said, Maron, these fucking knees. Scrazziad, I am.
We
Look
had
at
2
me.
timeouts.
2 timeouts. 2. I could have had a fucking veal cutlets Parmesan sandwich in 2 timeouts. That's how much time I had, and instead I'm like, oh, break your legs now, and now I'm the bad guy. All right.
Inbound alley-oop. What kind of moron am I?
Oh, 1, 2, 3, bada boom, bada bing. We're done. We're out of here. We win. What's wrong with that? Huh?
Wow. I will kill myself.
I would kill myself. Oh,
what an interview.
Stella. So 1994 comes around, and Penny Hardaway's no longer there now.
Yeah.
As we remember.
He was drafted by the Magic.
Yeah. So he found himself with no Penny. And, he said, quote, it's a lot different. Playing with Anthony was a great experience, but you've got to move on. I think it's important to get our chemistry together, get the feel for each other. Sure. So he gets the feel for his junior year. Then in 1995, he goes, I'm not coming back for my senior year.
Yeah?
Not going to do it. He says he's declaring himself eligible for the NBA draft after his junior year. Yeah. He said, I've had fun playing for my uncle, and it's difficult for me to leave, but, he's going to do it anyway. He had 12.9 points, 9.6 rebounds in his junior year. So, he did pretty well. He's the 8th underclassman to declare for the draft that year, that draft season. Jimmie, number 1, 1995 NBA draft.
5? Jesus. Is
number
it
1 overall.
Jason Kidd?
It is absolutely not Jason Kidd.
Shaq?
No. Shaq was like 92. Yeah. It is Joe Smith.
Oh,
remember him from Maryland?
Sixers. Yeah,
from Maryland. Golden State drafted him. He
career
of 10.9 points a game. Not exactly a number 1 overall draft pick.
This is the Jerry Stackhouse draft too.
Yes. Yes, it is. Number 2 overall. Antonio McDyess to the Clippers.
Yeah.
God, he was fucking fun to watch. Antonio McDyess. God
so
damn it.
Strong.
Nash throwing him those oops, man, and him soaring, and they were fun to watch.
How did he go? They got number 1 and number 2. Oh, Golden State, not Denver. Okay,
yeah, Golden State. Then McDyess went to the Clippers. That's who drafted him.
Right?
Yeah, they drafted him.
That's where he went to first.
Number 3 overall. Number 3 and 4, both out of North Carolina, which is pretty cool. Number 3 overall, Jerry Stackhouse.
Yeah.
Number 4, Rasheed Wallace.
No shit.
As well, going to the Bullets at that point. Number 5 overall, only guy without a college listed, Kevin Garnett, right out of high school.
Yeah.
This is a good draft, actually. Ooh, till we get to number 6, Bryant Reeves.
Yeah, I was going to say big country's
Big country. I got a flat top and a mustache, and I'm ready to play in the NBA.
Did he go right to Utah?
No, he went to Vancouver, Bryant Reeves. He played
that's
for Vancouver
right. He was
forever.
there first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Damon Stoudemire out of Arizona, number 7 to Toronto. Then you got Sean Respert, Ed O'Bannon, who recently became in the news again with his lawsuit and winning it and making it so NCAA guys could make money off their likeness anyway. So good for him.
You, O'Bannon.
Kurt Thomas went to Miami. Remember him? Like a weak center. Not weak. He was strong, but he just didn't score very much. Gary Trent, Cherokee Parks, Corliss Williamson, Brent Barry, Alan Henderson, Bob Sura. Remember these guys? I don't know all these guys. Theo Ratliff, Randall Childress, Jason Caffey, Michael Finley, 21. He was a good player, actually. Michael Finley to the Suns at 21. Remember him?
Yeah.
Suns, Mavs. He was really fucking good. Travis Best. Number 25 overall, Orlando Magic select David Vaughn.
Is in the first round.
First round, 25 overall. That's
so he's going to play with Penny.
He's going to play with Penny again. That's the thing. Penny would be... The players had a lot of input in there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
The reason they got Penny to begin with is because Shaq fucking said, "Get me fucking Penny Hardaway. That's the guy I want to play with," because he played with him in the Blue Chips movie. Mm-hmm. And Penny said that there's a documentary. Did you see that? The Magic Moment, 30 for 30. It's really good. It's about those first couple years of the Magic and Shaq and Penny and all that. And he said that he was in college when they did the movie Blue Chips, which they're both in it. And all the games are like real games. You know what I mean? They're playing like real games and filming them. And he said, my goal was to hit Shaq with the best fucking hit him with oops, hit him with all this shit, and just make him love me, make him fall in love with me so he'd want to play with me in the NBA.
Oh, the smartest.
And then when he got back to Orlando, he was like, "You're drafting Penny fucking Hardaway. I don't care what you say. He knows what to do." He said, "I put my hand up and a ball arrives in it, and it's like perfect. Like he's not even looking at me. He's the other side, ball in hand, easy basket." He's like, "Dude's
It's shocking that team didn't do infinitely better with Scott and Anderson, Penny, Shaq. You could plug any power forward in there, and you should do great.
Once Shaq left, they built it up to where we'll get it. We'll talk about this season, and it's exactly what it is. So, by the way, he's drafted Grace the Third.
Oh no,
we had Grace Jr. This is Grace the Third. July 95, there is, I guess there's a little player lockout, I suppose, here. What is it? Yeah. It's there's some sort of a labor dispute, they call it. And he said, this is the first time something like this has happened. There's things I'd like to do for my family and myself, but we'll just have to wait. So he gets drafted. Yeah. He gets drafted, and they don't, since there's a labor dispute, he doesn't sign right away, so he gets no money. So he's this drafted NBA guy.
I know you've been struggling your whole life for this, but this has never happened.
Yeah, sorry. You're going to have to wait a little longer. Fuck. He said, I'd already gone down there and worked out for them one time before. He said, quote, I might have close to, he said, on draft day, I might have close to 60 to 70 people in my agent's office waiting to watch the draft with me. My aunts, uncles, cousins, friends were all going to be there. And the only way that I would be able to go to Orlando and work would be to get back to my family was to rent the jet. So he had to rent a private jet to go back to do this thing. And then he said he had to pay for it because the team isn't doing it. He said they flew in Anthony Hardaway and had him work out for them too, because the same way the Magic did with him. So Magic flies people in to work out at the time. So he says things have worked out well for him there. I'm looking forward to playing on one of the best teams in the world. Yeah. You can't ask for a better situation.
It's awesome.
No pressure on you because you're, a big man where Shaq is, so who cares? Right. You got Shaq and Horace Grant ahead of you. Who gives a shit?
Wow.
This team will go over Nick Anderson, Darrell Armstrong, Anthony Bowie, Anthony Bonner, Horace Grant, Penny Hardaway, fucking Shaq, Donald Royal, Dennis Scott, Brian Shaw, Jeff Turner, Vaughn. This is a fucking team, man. This is stacked.
Yeah.
This is really.
Shaw. That guy was so good at threes. Jesus.
Yeah, there was a lot of good little role players on that team too. 95, 96, they go 60-22 that year.
Yeah, you're damn right they did.
They sweep the Pistons in the first round of the playoffs, win in 5 over the Hawks, and then they go to the Eastern Conference Finals where they run into a Michael Jordan just came back Bulls. Yeah, that's what happened to them. They run into
number 45.
they ran into the wall of Jordan, and they were fucked.
Yeah.
They were fucked,
Different
man.
number, same talent.
It's brutal, man. And then without Shaq, you're just the next year. There's no Shaq, so there you go. That was the team's. That was their window.
That was the only chance,
and they fucking missed it. Vaughn plays in 33 games, 8.1 minutes a game. He's a power forward / center, so 1.9 points, 2.4 rebounds a game. So back up,
you're playing behind Shaq.
He makes $534,000 though.
Solid.
That's nice stuff. He says that at this point, when he starts getting money, is because he's got a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
He starts spending money, and this is when it gets crazy. He said he calls it manic spending habits. He just go off. He says that he was drafted. He bought a Yukon, a Corvette, a Mercedes, a Range Rover, a Lexus, and then got another Yukon because he felt like he needed two.
Now you're broke.
Yeah. He said that the Corvette was ridiculed by his teammates. They said, quote, "Hey, rookie, get rid of it. It's too small," because he's 6'10", getting out of a fucking Corvette that's on the ground. And he said after everything, he said, quote, "I should have just bought a Buick."
Yeah.
That's all. He purchased a $250,000 house in Orlando, which he had 2 loans on. He paid the note on his grandfather's house near Nashville. He paid off the Reverend's house. He also bought a $212,000 house in Nashville and invested in a construction deal that he lost a shitload of money in as well.
Of course, yeah.
He said, quote, "The money just exhausted itself." He said that his financial advisors, quote, "never stepped in and made anything last a lifetime. I was left to make my own decisions."
Like an adult?
That's the thing. They can tell you, hey, be careful, but if you keep telling a guy every time he buys something not to buy it, eventually you're going to fire them.
Right.
It's my money, fuck you. So, I don't know. He said this is before the mandatory rookie transition program that they have now. Not that it really matters, I don't think, but still. So he bought all this shit. He paid $25,000 to a contractor who some friend recommended to him to put new bathrooms in the Nashville home and turn a bedroom into a closet. They want to turn a bedroom into a big closet. Vaughn just wrote him the check before he even started, and the guy never did anything. No contract.
Oh, God.
Didn't sign you're my buddy, my cousin's buddy or whatever, so here's a check. And the guy
wait till it's done, man.
Half and half, babe. That's how you got to do it. And he never
out of the closet.
Never did it.
Bedroom.
Nothing happened. Still a bedroom now. So he said the money felt like a bottomless pit, but it wasn't, is the problem. His agent, his ex-agent or whatever, Kyle wrote, he said, "Most people don't get access to a lot of money in their early 20s. Naturally, when you get older, you have a little bit better set of sensors to understand what is good, bad, and ugly."
But
it's just when you're older, you start to get paranoid about, oh my God, I'm going to run out of money. I need money. When you're 21, 23, and you got money, you just feel like, well, this will go on forever with this money.
Yeah.
And I'm 23, so I'll either be dead by next year, like all kids. I'm not going to live. I'll never be old. Or I'll roll this into something even bigger. I can spend what I want. But if you're 38, you go, holy shit, I'm going to take every dime and I'm put it in here. Oh, should I put that in a mutual fund or something, or like something that can,
I don't have much more time to make money. Is this going to be enough to last? Shit.
Oh, am I going to be 75 and living in my kid's shed or something? Like, what's going to happen?
Begging them to bring me ramen.
Please bring me ramen.
I need a salt bomb, anything.
I need some sodium. 96-97 in Orlando. They're 45 and 37. A little different without Shaq. That's things get different here. A coach gets fired. Brian Hill gets fired when he's 24 and 25. And they go to the playoffs, though. They lose.
They have Brian Grant here, right? Isn't he the center?
No. Horace Grant is the who the fuck did they get to replace him?
Ronnie
Cycli. Ronnie Cycli was gone. He was gone too. He was the Heat, not the Magic. Too.
I think it's Brian Grant.
It might be. I'm trying to think who they got to replace Shaq now. So either way, they go to the playoffs, and the first round it goes all 5. Those are the 5 game first rounds, and lose to the Heat, who started coming on at that point, and that year had a lot of good brawls in the playoffs. That year, he starts 6 games. He plays in 35, starts 6, still only 8.5 minutes a game, though. So 2.3 points and 2.7 rebounds, and $614,000.
Not bad.
So that's good. Good Buick buying money there.
Yeah.
97-98, October 28th, 97. He's traded by the Magic with Brian Shaw, nice little role player there, to the Golden State Warriors for Mark Price.
Really?
Yeah, or the old Cavs point guard.
Yeah.
I believe that's when Penny started having injury problems, and they needed a point guard that could.
Got it.
They needed somebody that, in case something happened, he could step in and run the team for a while here. So he's traded to Golden State, though. So he ends up in Golden State. December 1997, he goes on the injured list with tendonitis in his knee. That's not great. So then February 19th, 1998, he's traded by the Warriors with a second-round draft pick to the Chicago Bulls in the middle of their 1998 season, where they won 72 games and all that shit. And not too shabby. One of the better teams of all time. He's traded for Jason Caffey, who is funny because he was drafted like 4 spots ahead of him. So it's always a wash between Caffey and Vaughn. And they're both just big stiffs that are 5 fouls, basically. That's all it is.
Yep.
All it is. You need a guy, in case you play Shaq, you need somebody with 5 extra fouls that you can throw at Shaq.
You need Mark West.
Yep. You need Mark West. You need Joe Klein. You need one of these big bums.
Hot Rod Williams.
Hot Rod.
Somebody that'll go in there and bang around.
That's all the fucking terrible centers from the Suns there.
Yeah, there they are.
Remember when they tried to play Wayman Tisdale at center? It's like, what are you doing? No.
Rest in peace, Wayman.
Fuck, that was a poor guy. So he goes there. That's February 19th, 1998. March 2nd, 1998, right before the playoffs, he's waived by the Bulls.
Ouch, damn it.
That sucks. So you could have done something here.
Yeah.
So March 8th, though, 6 days later, the New Jersey Nets sign him to a 10-day contract to fill in for Ronnie Cycli, who just went on the injured list here. So 97-98, he plays for both teams, and what are his total numbers here? 4.1 points and 3.8 rebounds.
Oh, no. 10-day contracts and those numbers, that is not good.
That's not terrific. $693,840, though.
That sure is.
That's not bad. I'll take it. I'd take that every day of the week. 98-99, New Jersey. This is a weird team, too. It doesn't sound good. You got David Benoit. You got Sam Cassell.
No, I think it is Benoit, isn't it?
It's Benoit on this one. That's Benoit Benjamin we're thinking of. I don't remember. Okay. Michael Cage, Sam Cassell, Yinka Dare. Remember Yinka Dare?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Sherman Douglas, Chris Gatling. There's one of ours. Kendall Gill, Lucius Harris. What a great name. Kerry Kittles, Don McLean, Xavier McDaniel, Ronnie Cycli, Keith Van Horn, Jason Williams, another one of ours. So he's on this team. Oh, by the way, where the hell is it? One of the teams that his father was on, or I can't remember what team it was. There was a guy named Cincinnatimus on the team. That was his first name.
His first name is Cincinnatimus.
Cincinnatimus. I'm going to fucking try to find it quick because I got to find. I think was it Cincinnatimus or Cincinnatian or some crazy thing with Cincinnati is his fucking name, but he's made it even weirder. Cincinnatimus. I think it was the Squires that year. It was Cincinnatimus was on that team, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So keep an eye out for Cincinnatimus. So, let's see, where was I now? Okay, here we go. There we are. So anyway, there's he's broke. He's doing all this shit. He's not having a good time here. So obviously, he ends up 98-99, makes $450,000. He played 10 minutes a game, averaging 3.4 points, 3.4 rebounds. He's a 3-3 guy. So
I don't know if I want to be the star of a team and make a shitload of money, or if I want to be this kind of career, just make like $5-6 mil and walk away. That sounds awesome.
But you got to be good enough to hang on is the problem here.
I don't know.
You got to average more than 2.9 a game, I think, to stick on there. You have to be a guy who can do something off the bench that no other buddy can do, that nobody else can do. And that's it for him. That's it for his NBA career. 2.9 points, 3.1 rebounds a game average.
$2.9 million.
9.8 minutes played per game. So not great. 99 and through 2003, he goes all over the place to play. He goes to the Philippines. He goes to Greece. He goes to Spain. Starts playing everywhere here. Here's an article from him when he goes to the Philippines in 2002, and they call him a former bruiser for Memphis in college ball. They're saying here, so they're very excited about him. They said, quote, Vaughn will be arriving from the United States today. He's joining the Ginebra team with solid credentials, including an impressive 3-year stint with Memphis in the U.S. NCAA. Yeah, that was good. They're not impressive. His credentials are not solid. They said son of David Vaughn. They put that in there as well. He injured his ankle after only one game in his sophomore year in 1992, but was granted an extra year of eligibility. So that's how he ended up doing that. This is, by the way, since the 80s, this is the first Filipino Basketball Association import that was a first-round NBA draft pick.
Is that right?
Yeah, so they're very excited. Like, this is huge for the league.
That's exciting and huge for that league, but that's depressing for David Vaughn.
It's not good.
I'm the first one that was successful enough to get in the first round.
Well,
now wound up here.
Yeah, and they said it's like he's that's when like Italy and Spain and those leagues started paying a lot, so it was hard for the Filipino leagues to even get teams. So his career's over. Mm-hmm. He's pretty fucked. His NBA pension won't kick in until he's 48. He's 30. So
18 years.
Got some time to wait for that one here. Not very good here. He says, though, quote, I wouldn't trade my NBA experience for anything in the world. I bet. That seems fun.
Well, no, that's how you're going to have a career. You're going to have a life later. Thank God for that.
No. So 2003, he goes back to Orlando to get a job, not with the Magic or anything, actually. He got a job unloading trucks at a grocery store.
Oh, no.
I really hope he at least went to the team first and was like, hey, do you need like a extra coach, a summer league guy, like,
somebody that needs to unload a truck? I'll do that.
If I can unload basketballs, because they're pretty light once the air's in them, if I could do that, or like whatever you need me to do, I'd rather do it for this team than, at the Kroger. Is what I'm getting at. So,
yeah,
he's doing that. Not that there's anything wrong with unloading trucks at a grocery store, but if you were in the NBA,
right?
If you played with Shaq and Penny, you don't want to fucking unload groceries. It's different. So he did that. He also did. He was a package guy for Federal Express.
Yeah.
So he was working in their warehouse. He tried to open his own one-man moving company. So that didn't work, though. That didn't. He just, hire me. I'll come move your shit. That was literally his pitch. Like, I'll move everything. I got it.
Opening a one-man moving business is just, I don't know, moving your friends.
It should be called Grab the Other End of This Couch. That's the name of his business. That's what you'd call a one-man moving company.
It's called, can I get a little help?
A little help here. What a fucking disaster, man. What a fucking disaster.
This moving company is called, can your wife hold the door for us?
Does your screen door have one of those slidey things? It's a very deep cut for a moving company. I think it works. Well, all your shit fit in my El Camino is a very strange name for a moving company, but it might work.
This moving company's called Gonna Take More Than One Trip.
Let's try to get this done by the end of the weekend. That's a good name for a moving company.
One-man moving company? The fuck is that?
That's a worse idea than walking around with your cock hanging out on the street, I feel like. It's worse.
Moving call. Will you deliver us a pizza at lunch?
Jesus Christ, man. Oh, man.
Unbelievable.
So, then he worked for 3 years at a furniture store, driving and unloading trucks. So he's like doing a moving thing, but for somebody. They said he was good at it too. Like he had very high ratings. The company all said like, wow, he's a great employee, but he was laid off when the store stopped delivering.
Oh, that's no good.
Sorry, David, nowhere to go. Anyway, so he's got back in Orlando. He's got no money. Taking whatever job he can. He worked at a supermarket. He worked at a furniture store. He worked at all these different places trying to make a go of it. And he can't really do it. He's like,
fucking imagine, James?
Yeah. I mean, Fuck, man. It's not a good day to be David Vaughn. Put it that way. It's just bad. I mean, I feel bad for this David Vaughn and the other one, too, but not nearly as bad as I feel for these David Vaughns.
Fuck.
David Vaughn, Director of Special Education and School Psychologist at Aberdeen School District Number 5 in Aberdeen, I think it's Idaho, which is weird. I didn't know there was an Aberdeen, Idaho. David Vaughn, MVP at Lowe's Home Improvement. That could be our guy, for Christ's sake. We don't know at this point.
MVP.
He's an MVP. I think that they just call all their employees MVPs. David Vaughn, Systems Analyst at Kootenai Sheriff's Office in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Jesus Christ. David Vaughn, President and CEO at Treaty Oak Financial Group in Texas. One thing I don't want David Vaughn doing is handling my money.
Yeah,
either of them. No, thank you. I'm good. So that's bad. And finally, there's two more. David Patrick Vaughn, David Vaughn, he goes by, known as Law Offices of David Vaughn. Yeah. He is a very, very 34-year lawyer who represents one of the very few attorneys in America who have defended multiple NCAA cases. He works for the NCAA trying to... Yeah. Asshole. He represents universities, coaches, administrators, and student athletes in government and NCAA interviews, investigations, and enforcement proceedings. He's had 10 cases over 15 years, this guy. And he does a lot of white-collar crime. He was a former prosecutor who will now get your scumbag ass off, probably, I guess, maybe. But I think he's really good at it anyway. So he says, quote, "I know exactly what you're going through right now because I was a client before I was a lawyer."
That's not the guy I want.
I don't know. Well, no, don't say anything bad because he'll probably sue us. But either way, David, don't. NCAA is a no. And finally,
sounds terrible.
In Santa Fe, New Mexico, David Vaughn, the Asset Management Company. Again, no Vaughns managing my assets. Ricky, Greg, none of them. I don't want any Vaughns managing them. Mo, none of them.
Yeah, God, no.
Ricky,
Jesus,
Greg, Mo, none of them. So problems start to arise as well. He's got 2 children with his wife, Brandy, through all this. And then he is arrested for domestic violence.
Oh, Jesus.
So he's arrested for domestic violence and ordered by the court to stay away from his wife and children. So, he's got multiple arrests at this point, 2 different stays in jail.
Boy.
He's on like a probation thing where he has to take drugs tests, and he fails some drug tests, so he gets in more legal trouble, and it's just it's a circle now. Yeah. And the family's breaking up. He says his body was really broken down at this point and everything. He started to get depressed and got depressed and it was so down, so low that he got to the point where he was living on the street.
Oh, no.
So living on the street, he'd spend his nights in his Chevy Impala. That's all he had left. Or he'd go to the homeless shelter when there was space available.
He sat on the same bench as Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq and Penny, man.
Wow.
That hundreds of millions of dollars sitting next to him, and now he's doing this. Or sometimes he would sleep in his buddy's disgustingly gross storage shed.
Oh, no.
As well. He said in an interview during this time, quote, "I went from the pinnacle of having it all to the pits of having absolutely nothing and seeing no light at the end of the tunnel. I was a mess, but I didn't want to end up in hell." So his marriage is deteriorating. It's a 2000 Chevy Impala, by the way. So it's a 10-year-old Impala. Yeah. It's got 200,000 miles on it at this point as well.
It's not a collector's Impala. It's
No. This isn't Dr. Dre.
Car. Right.
Dr. Dre on 3 wheels. This is fucking.
It doesn't have hydraulics.
No.
This is a piece of shit.
This is a big piece of shit that fucking cops drove.
Will rent you.
Yeah, for very cheap.
Yeah.
He would take showers either at the Salvation Army where he got free meals. They offered free meals and showers, or he'd go to a fitness center that he still had a membership to. So he had like a 2-year membership or something. So he'd go there to take a shower, and he'd do some stretching exercises because if you're 6'11" and living in a Chevy, you feel cramped. So he said he'd just go there for an hour and stretch and just get all stretched out because he's fucking 6'10". You have to unfold.
Shit.
Believe me, when I get off a plane, it takes me 2 hours to unfold myself. You know how it
Yeah,
is, dude. I'm still
yeah.
like, I'm stretching and cramping.
To open the creases.
Yeah, if I was 6'10", it'd be fucking way worse.
Oh.
So sleeping in a car. So, yeah, he'd do all this shit. He said, quote, "It was a very lonely situation," which, yeah.
I can imagine, yeah.
He ends up reconciling with his wife, and we'll find out how. But he reconciles with his wife and rejoins her and their two sons. They were 11 and 8 at the time. He said, quote, "Basically, I knelt down and said a long prayer. Later, I read all of the New Testament, and it gave me strength." Whoa. All of it. Every damn page. His wife, Brandy, said, quote, "Even though we may not have material things, we have the love of God, which is more priceless than that." Wow. Wow. They're really, I mean, that's a good attitude, I guess, to have if you're that broke after having something. At one point, though, he's having a hard time working because at one point when he was still on the street, he ended up, I don't know where he was sleeping. I think it was the storage shed. He ended up with a bunch of brown recluse bites on his.
Oh, no.
Spider bites, if you don't know spiders, but brown recluse bites on his one foot that became super infected because that's what they do, brown recluse. They eat the tissue.
Take your fucking foot.
There was actual talk of amputating his leg below the knee
leg.
to prevent him from losing the rest of his leg, from preventing him losing it all. At the same time, he's court ordered to stay away from his wife. But during this, when she heard he was in the hospital, Brandy, fucking court order or not, came to the hospital and got by his bedside and said, "You're fucking moving home. You're moving home after this. We're figuring this out." And that's when they reconciled and all that shit. So they said they were trying to work on their relationship. David said, quote, "I made a lot of bad choices. Now I just want to get a decent job, drive a truck, be a security guard, maybe coach a little. I'd be happy with that life. My wife stuck with me through the hard times, and I'm grateful, and we made it through the storm." So, yeah, he just wants a regular, he's like, "I just want a 9 to 5, come home, not fuck up and whatever, not get eaten by spiders."
Yeah, pissing in bottles, eaten by spiders, living in a fucking U-store. No,
I can't. That's
not
the
a
fucking
life.
worst, man. No, that's terrible. So, he said he's still looking for work, though, because this was like 2009, which was a terrible time to be starting over because a lot of people were starting over. Yeah, we did. So it was a tough time. He was laid off from another job as well. That was a problem. They have a fundraiser for him. His friends and family have a fundraiser for him, because he was sick with his foot, to try to give him something, a little stake to start out with. Sure. He said a community activist who arranged the event said, quote, he's made mistakes that we all do as human beings. Yeah, even David says, quote, "I have no regrets except for what I put my family through." Yeah, I would say. "I'm a lot smarter now. I made it to the NBA, which was a dream of mine. I just didn't know what to do when I got there. The money doesn't last forever. It comes and goes. I made a lot of bad choices. Now I just want to get a decent job, be happy with my life, and I'm glad I made it through with my wife." So that's good. They said that a lot of newspapers at the time were comparing him to Joe Gilliam. As you remember, Joe Gilliam, we did that guy's deal, who was addicted to drugs and was living in a cardboard box under a bridge for 2 years.
Right.
About 10 years earlier from that. So they were comparing him to him. He said, "It's all my fault. I don't blame anybody." He said, quote, "I bought houses that were too big and too many luxurious cars. I wish I'd have lived more simply because I'd be better off. I lived like there was no tomorrow." He said, "I appreciate people stepping forward for me. It'll help me put some of my life back together. I used to come to," there was a library where they did the fundraiser. "I used to come to this library a lot when I had nowhere else to go. If I had any advice for the young guys coming into the league, it's to prepare for a future beyond basketball. If you're not careful, everything can disappear." Which, yeah, if you don't have $50 million in the bank,
it goes so fast.
It goes fast, especially if you're taking care of other people and, you're whatever. His agent, that Kyle Rote Jr., God, juniors are everywhere. Yeah. He said, "We're fortunate that he's still with us after all he's been through the last few years." He said, "A lot of guys would be dead. I've always said it's a lot harder to get out of big-time professional sports than it is to get in it. You get sucked into that lifestyle and there's no easy way out." I would say. So as of 2009, he was living on $260 a week in unemployment.
Oh, Jesus.
His 215,010 miles on his 2000 Chevy Impala. And that's where we go. He kind of dropped out of the news at that point.
Oh, no.
Hopefully he's just living a nice, easy, quiet life. And I hope he's doing well, honestly. I hope him and his family are doing well.
Crossed, man.
I really do. I hope that I hope his wife's doing well because she's been through a lot, man. She went from NBA because they met in 97. That's when they got together. So, I mean, NBA doing well to this fucking where he went down, and then she stuck with him. So, not too shabby.
Spider bites and all.
Spider bites, chewed up by brown recluses and everything. So that's how he's going. His dad's still alive. We don't know what his dad's doing. His dad's one of those guys that he's a bounder, man. David Jr. is, you never know what the fuck he's up to, I feel like.
Jesus.
I feel like he's the type of guy who, I don't know, but he's the type of personality that would have like 12 different careers over the course of his life. Like, now I own a carpet cleaning business. Like, where'd you get that from? You were just, you had a bakery last week. What are you talking about? Like,
you were building fences. You were a mason.
Yeah, very strange. So either way, can't get enough of David Jr. or David III? Well, you can get Virginia Squires jerseys with his number on them on eBay. They're fucking dope, too. White jersey, orange, like 70s letters that says Squires and like those 70s kind of like thick, really fucking dope looking, like psychedelic looking.
I'm going to buy one, James, and I'm going to take a Sharpie and write Billy over the top of it.
That would be great. Draw his head on there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's that, or you can get an autographed David III Orlando Magic basketball card for only $14.
Wow.
That actually might be his autograph because he's probably, he'll sign anything at this point. But $14, I think that includes shipping is why it's $14. So that is David Vaughn Jr. and David Vaughn III. Well, I mean, no one knows who the fuck he is unless you're an Orlando Magic freak. Yeah. So there you go. That is David Vaughn, the Jr. and the Third. Hope you enjoyed.
What a story.
It's a lot of story, man, just to be so crazy to have. They both kind of had the same
the same arc, yeah,
the same arc of things aren't going well and I'm dipping and it's tough.
I'm curious. I really want somebody to invest. I want David to see a doctor for himself for health, but I also want to know like what the fuck, what happened, where did it go off? Because he's got to be schizophrenic, right? You don't just do that shit.
Something, or had a major manic episode, or I don't even know. That's what I mean. I don't know what the fuck.
I'm concerned for him and for anybody around him, but also I'd like to know what the fuck.
I'd like to know a lot of things. But
what is that?
One thing we do know, Jimmy, is that God is naked too. So there is that. It's nice to know. It's nice to always fall back on that. If you like the show, you know what? Tell us about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. Tell us that God is naked. And so are you. We'll be happy with that. We don't care.
Tell us what you believe he wears.
There you go. Tell us what his outfit is, or her outfit. We don't fucking care. So either way, do that. Help us out. Does help out the show a lot. You can also follow us on social media. We are at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. And additionally, you can also Patreon. My goodness. Actually, shutupandgivememurder.com is where you need to go. Go there first. Because you got to get tickets to the virtual live show this week, February the 10th. Let's say you're listening and it's February 10th and you're like, oh no, I missed it. That's cool. It's available for 72 hours after that. So you can get it and you can even watch it over again. Let's say you watch it, you're a little tipsy, and the next day you're like, oh, you got to watch this thing with me that I don't even remember most of it. Let's get drunk again and watch it. And then you do it, and then you were too drunk then, so then you can watch it the next day. It's fine. 72 hours.
What, though? I'll tell you what it's not, and after 72 hours, you will never see it again.
You'll never see it again?
You better get it if you're going to get it.
Poof and gone. So that is that. Shutupandgivememurder.com or momenthouse.com/smalltownmurder. Either one. So do all that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. Good stuff this week. That Deadwood episode, we laughed so hard during that episode. It's so much crazy shit that was going on there. Yeah. First of all, anybody $5 or above, you get access to everything that we make, crime and sports or Small Town Murders bonus. You get access to both of them. Plus, you're going to get a shout out here in a minute that Jimmy's going to give you. This week, episodes especially crazy. For crime and sports, we did one about, we love imposters. They're always crazy stories. An imposter named Ron Weaver, or Ron McElvey is what he said his name was when he played at Texas. But he's a guy who played like low-level college football when he was of normal college football playing age, was done with football, as not good enough to play professional.
You age out.
And then he worked on it, and then by the time he was 30, he's like, I should go play more college football, even though I have no eligibility left.
Still got it.
And he did. He went back, enrolled himself, got recruited by Texas. This is a crazy fucking story. You have to hear the whole story. He's 30 years old, bashing, 18-year-olds out of the way. It's ridiculous. Check that out. Then for Small Town Murders, we did one of our favorite things that we've ever done, which was look at the newspaper archives for Deadwood, South Dakota. And we did the first 2 years of Deadwood, or 3 years like this. What was it like to exist in a lawless Old West mining camp where so lawless Wild Bill Hickok is shot and he's like a badass gunslinger? That's how crazy it was. It opens with a big thing of a call from the newspaper, a call to stop lawlessness. It's so much crazy shit happens in that. All we have to say is make sure you don't get dry gulched by any roustabouts. Other than that, check all that out.
Be on guard.
Be on guard. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And Jimmie will give you a shout out, which is coming up in just a moment. And if you just want the shout out and excellent karma, you can get that very easily at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, Jimmie, goddammit, I need to hear more than anything the names of the most fantastic people who we just can't get enough of. And honestly, we're so thankful of, we could never begin to express to you how thankful we are for you. Jimmie, hit me with that list immediately.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett, Jeanette Bell. Gary Friedman lost his mom.
Oh, I saw that. Sorry, Gary.
Jesus
Sorry
Christ.
About that, man. That sucks.
This world fucking sucks.
Absolutely.
Jenny Craig wants us to tell Deanna Grimes happy birthday. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Deanna. Matthew Webster also is executive producer. Thank you guys so much for what you do for us.
Thank you.
It's truly
really
remarkable. And
thank you so much.
You're doing this. Thank you. Other producers this week are Corporal Carl Kirscher, James Martyr, Shelby Kluver, happy birthday. Razan Rabadi, Tara Hopkins, Peyton Meadows, Kristen Blosser, happy birthday. Kelly Higbee. It's a Leica Dwyer. I don't know what that is, if that's really a person's name.
Okay, well, maybe.
Samantha, No Body, No Crime Quigley. Robert Shabley, Attack Macaque. Oh, boy. Happy Hour in Marrero, Louisiana. David Mister, happy birthday. Carly Gervais. Travis Roberts, happy birthday. Frank, the South African birdwasher, is in again. Bethany Ray. Steve Schnell. Janice Hill. Holly Tyler. Jess Campanello. Coco the Magnificent on Instagram.
Sounds
Tony
like a wrestler.
Simpson.
I love it.
It's her dog, I think.
Oh, even better.
Tony Simpson in Scotland. Pavlis Basivius, I think. Povilas. No. Pavlis?
Those are very different, Jimmie.
Is it Povilas?
I don't know.
Well, let them decide. Leslie Blaze, Eric Brown, Angel Durrani, Julian. Yeah. Grotto, Joshua Christia.
I love when you
RJ
ask me.
Would know.
I'm 5 feet away. I can't help you. You're...
Cody Ann Nelson, Rebel 24/7, Kenya. What is this? Kenya Fullwood, I guess. Jenny Talcott. Sophia Banta, Dave with no last name. Tony Powell, Raphael Leonardo. How do you get two Ninja Turtle names?
That's awesome.
That's badass.
Raphael Donatello Leonardo is his full name.
Michelangelo. LeBron Burrows. Brian. Get two middle names. You could wrap that up. Brian Christie. Nick Brunette. Helena. Flabbergaster with no last name. Flabbergast, not Flabbygaster. What? Tab with no last name. Audrey Kennedy. Nikita Richardson. Skylar Goldsby. Mike McCafferty. Jennifer Peterson. Brad Montgomery. Kendra Mullen. Amelia with no last name. Seth Kelly. Dorian Brown. Dylan Bertram, Claudia Herbst, Paul, Musalami, Jay Newton, Sarah Jones, Melissa Lang, David Johnson, Mariah Ann, Francis Keefe, kick-ass last name.
Love it.
Jeff Beckman, Miguel Moreno, Paige Salter, Damian Ivory, Amber with no last name, Andrew Cheadle, Austin Burke, Bella Hatmaker, Sarah Cameron, E to the G, Tanya Olson, Low Glass, Jessica Murphy, Shane Williams, Carrie Gusso, Wynn Moore, Sylvie Danko, Suzanne Wilson, Ruth DeFries, Lindsay Garnham, Stephanie, nope, that's Steven Smith, the Junk Food God, Anthony Mays, Casey Lloyd, Darius Statham, Jin Kay, Amy Jean Jones, Katrina Shields, Roberto Montalvo Palerm, Mariah Whitman. I'm never going to get him.
As you just ran out of gas and needed a refuel, you're like, it's just beating my soul too much.
It's exhausting.
It's hurt my soul too much. I need to stop.
Ashley Eddy, Tanya Richards, Luke Walker, Vince Alvino, Lexi Heber, Christopher Ensley, Tim Eder, Brad Loxley, Tiffany Becker, Frank Arellano, Mark Barnett, Ben Zahn, Crystal Rose, Belle Buttons, that Scrappy, I think, Lynette Donahue, Tori Madu, Tried Freehold, what? Triet, Shauna Williams, Adam Apple, that's Tried, right? It's got to be Tried.
Take it, sure.
All right, Corey Citrus, Matt Jenner, Chicker Siskies, what?
He clenched his teeth and just started making noises.
Mallory Aguirre, Michelle Wilson, Eileen Francis, Maxine Pierce, Emily Chack, Chris Hamilton, Renee Raybon, The Cheshire, Stephanie Ernst, Finn Hansen, Kaylee Stafford, Hesh Daddy, boy oh boy, Trevor Shand, Nicole Lockwood, Ali Alpress, Kenzie L. Savannah with no last name, Mary Randazzo, Chase Hunsaker, James Sinnett, Eric Krizan, Paul Barani, Matt with no last name, Josh Williams, Taylor Clark, Chris Thompson, Maria Palcon, Ellen Aim, Meredith Bryden, Adam Garrity, I think so, Michelle Arvin, Amy Bosley, Mary Zaha, Sharon Doran, Sarah with no last name, David Goodall, Jessica Gaines, Trish Cook, David Brook, that's what it is. Dave Brook, I said that. Joe Fleming, Marshall Barber, Matthew Cannon, Sarah Sharp, Kate Lee, Daniela Mikanovsky, Olympia Stanton, Emma Norman, Jen Nicholson, Courtney Edwards, Alaska's Top Shelf Entertainment, James, Alyssa Connor, Sammy Stan, Madison K, Corey Parks, Lucio Maffei, Anthony with no last name, Jessica Harwood, Derek Fleener, Jan Vodrin, Jamie Sigler, Connie Cuney, I think, Eric Pelk, Tyson Curvello, and all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, my fucking thank you. Just thank you for everything you do. Yeah. Hope you love the Patreon episodes. Those are they're so much fun, and we love them, and we hope you do too. We've heard nothing but good stuff, so we're going to keep doing it. So thank you so much for everything you've done for us. And we usually say, if you want to find us, fucking Google the show. Google us. Yeah. Crime and Sports hosts. We're the only ones. There's no other Crime and Sports. And if you find another Crime and Sports, tell us, because I will go to their house and kick their dick through the top of their head. Yeah. Not going to happen. So it's only us, Jimmy and James. Here we are. Yeah. So enjoy, do that, and keep coming back, right, Jimmy? Yes. We want them to keep coming back. Indeed. Week after week. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere.
Sure.
Where will we be? We will be live from the Crime and Sports studios. We will see you next week, everybody.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.